everybody, to a new episode of the Comics We Love. This is episode 4, and we're going to be talking about Gotham Central. This is kind of an impromptu episode because some things happened behind the scenes that we kind of all made arrangements to do this, and things didn't quite work out. So I was like, hey, let's talk about Gotham Central. So I will introduce our first panelist. You know him from a lot of other streams in the community. It is John's Comics with Kids.
I'm just ready to share this video. Make sure some of my homies who don't know come on over because we are going to talk about one of my all-time favorite Batman stories, even though Batman's not in it. Still one of the best Batman stories.
And I couldn't talk about a Batman book without having fellow Bat fanatic on with us, and that's Greg, Bearded Comic Bro.
What's going on? How we doing?
Been wanting to talk to the Bat with you, even though this isn't quite the Bat.
It's not quite the Bat, and also I've read half of this series, so like it's not even fully like it's Batman light for me tonight.
But you've read it before, though, right?
No.
Oh, really? Oh,
no. I've read the first volume, and I had read the first volume before, and I'd never gotten to go through it all. And so that's why I was like, I keep getting behind on my to read list with keeping up with new comic books, reading trades and stuff for interviews, and so I'm just like, so
and I'm then making the videos,
and then now it's up here. So I just saw the Omni hardcover is on Amazon, and I might
cheap.
I think it's super cheap on in stock trades as well.
Yeah, they're both around the same, like 59.
Yeah, I got mine on in stock trades. It's a super good deal considering how
52
massive.
On Amazon.
Okay, they dropped it again.
Hardcover, and I get, because I'm Prime, I get free 1-day shipping.
Nice. That's what I would have got the Paul Dini one for.
Look who's getting the Omni.
Boom. So what I did was I actually bought all the trades and read them all and loved them all, and then I sent them to a friend, sadly, who passed away last year, Simon R. Shout out Simon. But I sent them to Simon because I was like, dude, you need to read this. I know you like Batman. And I know it was one of the last things he really enjoyed. He had a chance to dive into. But it was a good excuse for me to pick up the omnibus.
So if it seems like this show's kind of half-assed thrown together, it's because it is. But I knew this was a subject we wanted to talk about. We can thank our friend and fellow co-host Carlito Classico for this.
Hey. It's getting me to reread this or reread part of it and read the rest of it for the first time. So I'm okay with it.
And let's be honest, we blame Carlito for a lot of things.
I mean.
So I got through the first 2 trades today because they're actually 2 of the former trades together. So technically I got through 4 trades, but I'm at least fresh
how many
enough.
Issues is that? Is it 10?
10 are they did 2. They've done 4 trades, and they're like 2 trades per trade, if that makes sense. So there's 10 issues each trade.
Yeah.
Well, because most trades aren't 10 issues.
So did you read? So then, how many issues did you get through, Dan?
I got
20.
20. Okay.
I got through like 15.
Okay. Just so that I know where I'm starting. I did not reread it for tonight, but I finished it last year, so it's not like it was like out of my memory. And I read the first trade multiple times the first time I went through.
It's solid. It reminds me of a Fincher movie to a degree where the city is as much a character as the characters are. But Greg, your first time reading through, not first time, but you haven't gone through the whole series. Like, did it hook you in immediately, or did it take you kind of keep reading and...
No, it hooked me in, and because the first time I ever read it, I was doing a review, not a review show. I was doing one of my Batman villain books, and like where the shows where I list like top 5 stories to read about a villain or things, and one of the villains I said like you got to read this arc was Mr. Freeze, which is the first 2 issues of that.
Yeah,
I love that because it just was. He's not in it much, but it just shows you like how hardcore he can be.
He's menacing.
And it was just, and then you go through this is, as I'm reading this, the only part that made me sad was because I'm like, this is what I feel like the TV show Gotham should have been.
100%.
And for what Gotham was, I enjoyed it for what it was as a campy police drama show, and with the over the top villains, but like this is where I'm reading like, oh my goodness, if they did this in like HBO style, like in a True Detectives, vibe, like you said, Fincher vibes right off the bat here. You've got Brubaker obviously and Rucka writing this is fantastic. So I loved it. I'm a big like detective, like police procedural, like I like those books. I don't watch those types of TV shows, but I like the movies or the books. Like if it's like a crime, I'm hooked when it comes to a novel. So like put that in a Batman world, like come on. Like
the first intro of the novel was by Lawrence Block, who, if you love like crime drama books, he did the introduction to this trade, the first one.
What did he write? I mean,
he's written so many like cop procedural books.
Okay.
And like a little bit noir, but I'd say it's more in actually the Brubaker vibe of like it's always like there is a quote in here, I think it's the second trade, of you can see and almost smell that the city stinks with Rucka's writing. And I was like, he's got a point. Like, honestly, it's just like in Fincher's world where everything is drab, and Michael Lark and Lee Loffridge on the colors brings it to life. And yeah, like I want to see this be the TV show. I want Gotham The Wire.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, Mr. Freeze in this is what I wanted to see in the Batman sequel. Not maybe Clayface, unless they're going to do the Basil Karlo. I know I'm going movies here, but they announced Clayface, and I'm reading this going, no, this Mr. Freeze would be awesome. Like, picture them walking up and seeing these people frozen and like kicked apart.
I mean, ultimately for me, the Batman film feels like this universe, right? It feels like this world. And I think it's partly because everything feels so lived in, and that authenticity bleeds over. You mentioned the villain that they start off with here, Mr. Freeze. I feel like what this series does best for me, the thing that does is it justifies some of these villains' existences, and it's so easy. And, Greg and I, have still affection for the Adam West Batman, but like,
oh yeah,
some of those villains are ridiculous and they're stupid. And this is the first time I legitimately felt like the Mad Hatter was justified as a bad guy. Like, it was the first reading this series was the first time I was like, oh dang, like that scares the crap out of me. And it went from being like, what the heck is a stupid Alice in Wonderland villain doing in the Batman universe? This is dumb. And then it became like, that's scary as heck. It's like the lack of power over yourself. Like, that's freaky. I love it.
I can't think of better writers to write this type of series than Brubaker and Rucka, who had mildly successful runs on Batman and Detective at the same time after No Man's Land. And then, they make this Eisner Award-winning series that was always on the thread of being canceled because it just didn't sell a ton.
Right.
Well, I mean, it makes sense of like from the idea of it's a Batman book without Batman in it. It's a hard sell, I would imagine. But this came out in what, 03, 04?
It came out in 03. The series started.
Okay. I mean, I'm reading this and I'm like, holy cow, so much was pulled from like Batman movies, like from this series. And like, you're telling me Christopher Nolan didn't read that Joker arc?
100%. We talked about this before you came on, where I was like, Carlito would be like, oh no, Nolan thought of it first. They stole from him. He just never put it into print yet, because that's just
I'm reading this and I'm literally doing a double take. I'm like, this is literally the setup and like the premise of Dark Knight. And I'm just like, holy cow. Like,
there's some strong scenes, especially in that part where like Probe gives his badge and his gun to Sawyer, and he's like, well, it's going to transfer anyway. Better me than you. And he grabs the phone book. And I was just like, they totally stole that from The Dark Knight. And liberally homaged.
Yeah, they probably didn't pay a single red penny to any of these
and I'm
guys.
okay with that, because I feel like a good comic book movie should take parts from. Like, I mean, I think there's benefits of it. Like, you don't want it to be, I don't want it to be a straight shot for shot book, you know, with the movie, but it gives you insight, you know. And again, I've only read I finished the Joker arc, so that's what, 16 books or 15 books. So, but like, even in the courtroom where he's dealing with Mr. Freeze, and the guy's like, oh, you know,
he's psychotic.
He's psychotic, and he's like, I know what you're gonna do. Like, if I answer that, like, yes, anybody who would just freeze somebody for no reason and kill them, yes, it's psychotic. But I know you're just gonna put him in Arkham rather than if it was just a druggie, you'd put him on death row. But now he's gonna be in Arkham, and then he's gonna escape, and he's gonna do the same thing again. It's the token. Why doesn't Batman kill line, basically, without it being about Batman? It was just you're allowing these criminals to kill more by not putting them, you know, by not killing them or putting them out of the misery. And I was just like, I love that. I love when you can wrestle with that tension in the Batman world and do it in a good way.
Right.
There's also a great assortment of characters in this that you can pull from, because everybody, it's multicultural. It's got all these different types of, I wouldn't even call them stereotype characters, but you know, you do have
Archetypes.
your stern guy by the book.
Yeah.
Because definitely, like, Crispus Allen, like, everybody all the cops even call him a dick. And he's very by the book. And, you know, there's so much good dialogue in this too, between the cops and how much they hate Batman, where it's like, they talk about how they used to have Batman on the board for crimes. And they were like, well, you got to take that off. It's demeaning. And the guy Fields who got killed was like, yeah, it's meant to be.
But those are the aspects that I liked. And I really, I forgot that they basically don't have any of the, you know, cops or people that you're familiar with in this world, except for Renee Montoya. Like, other than, which I'm okay with. Give me Renee. Like, I love the fact that we're not dealing with a Harvey Bullock. We're not dealing with Commissioner Gordon.
I mean, Bullock does appear.
Okay.
Bullock does play a part. He's kind of retired at this point in time.
But again,
he's not one of the mains.
They're not. That's where I'm at. Like, Gordon still is through the what I've read so far is
he's around.
So they're in the universe just like Batman, but it's allowing us to really explore these characters that we don't get to dig into. And I'd say we probably don't get to dig into Renee Montoya enough in most comics anyway. So like, putting Renee as a focal point is a great move.
My intro to her was the animated series.
That Two-Face storyline, where you get the fact that ultimately, like, she perfectly represents the two halves of Harvey, right? Yeah. Because she clearly had this relationship with him where he viewed it as this romance, but then she had this whole other life that she was keeping hidden, much like he had this whole anger that he was keeping hidden. And then once he lost it and became this villain, it was almost like he lost the inhibitions that were holding him back from pursuing her. That storyline, I don't know. I guess the toxic male side of that is just absolutely riveting.
So for the newer trades, don't put it in there anymore. But there was a No Man's Land storyline in there. It was a one shot in there where Renee and Two-Face get stuck together during No Man's Land, and he falls in love with her. And Jason Pearson did the art in it. So it's what starts this whole obsession Harvey has with her.
Because I know they mention it throughout, when you go visit him at Arkham and things like that. And
because he saved her brother during it. So she had this sympathy for him and always kind of would visit him and kind of show him, as he said, sympathy somewhat. Mm-hmm. And he imprinted on her, I guess is the best word, where that part where he's like, well, I got you steak. It's rare, just like you like it. And are you not hungry? Yeah. And he's basically breaking down. Oh yeah, I did this. I fucked up with the gun. I totally should have put it back in your case and not left it at the scene, but I wanted to look like you're out of control. And yeah, like I figured the smack would be enough that I put into your. And it's just insane. He's like telling her, and you can just see her face. She's like,
yeah.
No, Harvey, no, I'm never going to love you. I'm gay. And he starts going, no, you're not.
And the way he's using, like, the way at the same time she's dealing with the truth of her homosexuality coming out, right? The way the cops are starting to look at her, the way it's being used against her in her job. It's she's breaking down, and you almost see an opportunity for her to become like him, right? An opportunity for her to choose that path, which I think is a fascinating moment in her character's history, where then when she makes the choice not to end up like that, you get this it's not a superhero moment, but it's certainly a powerful moment, right?
It was a strong story. Like, I think it won a GLAAD award at some point, just showing the difficulties of coming out to your family and the way it was done. And that's when there were people outing celebrities as being gay on the internet for a while. Also, in the first volume, there is that one story that takes place right after the Mr. Freeze story, with the still going to that girl who disappeared, who was killed.
Oh yeah.
And you know,
Firebug,
yes.
Yep.
And that was a great, like, leading you by of like, okay, it could be this. No, it's not that. It's the bum in the park. No, it's not.
Lots of twists.
Like I love that. I just love how, like, you take that one story and Driver's like, listen, I solved this case and clear it. I'll take my vacation. Like, I'll go away for a while.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beautiful dynamic of, you know, and you also were talking about how it fit in the Batman universe. It fits into me like the Joker movie too, of like how like the city itself was a part of the movie. Like as the trash strike went on, like you saw garbage pile up more and more, and like you felt enthralled in the city. And I think you get this with that. But it's the idea of you have these detectives that are trying to figure out stuff, but they're also still struggling with this dynamic of, you've got freaking Batman who everyone's just like, he's doing your job. And like that balance of like, when do you suck it up and say, we need help? And when do you just say, I can do this? And like, is there the dynamic? I feel like I'm imagining it'll eventually go at one point where they're like, they try to not have Batman involved, and then something's going to happen because they're too prideful or something. Like, if they don't, it's a missed opportunity. But and I'll let Rucka know that. And so, but it's just, it's such a cool balance to try and figure that out. I think, where that is,
because that's the line the cops have to toe, right? They're stuck both needing Batman, yet also wanting to be able to prove to the city that they can take care of themselves and do it for themselves, not being just like useless.
Yeah.
Which I figured this would be the perfect Bat book for John, because like they don't like Batman for the most part. They know he's a necessity, but at the same point, they're just like, this fucking guy. Like the part when they went up on the roof with the Joker thing, when Probe is like, holy shit, it's the Joker. This is too big for us. And went up and pulled the thing and almost got shot.
Right. And Batman just saves him at the last second.
Yeah. And
that's another funny aspect of, you talk about the bureaucracy of the police, of like, they literally have someone on the payroll as a citizen that can turn on the bat signal because the cops can't legally, because then they're accomplice and they got a case thrown out. Because, and I'm just like, it's exploring. I think what it is like, Rucka and Brubaker had to been like, listen, there are some stuff that's just absurd if you look at it from like a realistic standpoint in the Batman universe, and let's try and add some gravity to that and like actually like flesh it out to say like, this is what would actually happen if Batman existed in the real world.
And also the commissioner has to tell them you can or cannot pull that. Because I saw the thing with like, you could be fired for touching that.
Right. And the commissioner she can't pull it without the commissioner telling her, but he can't do. It's just like, but that's where it's like the legal tape that you have to go through. Sometimes you're like, okay, here's the hoop we got to jump through. It makes no sense.
But in that way, I think it reminds me a lot of Batman Year One, which wanted to really kind of ground Batman a little bit, and of course, even you throw Long Halloween in there, which are my two favorite Bat stories, and this definitely feels like it belongs with them. It's part of that storyline, that style, even Lark's art style, which I first came across when I was reading Brubaker's run on Daredevil. Lark did a lot of the episodes on Daredevil, and it had a very similar look and very similar feel. But even his art style has a slight Mazzucchelli year one look to it. It's very simple. It's not overly drawn. You're not getting Jim Lee Batman here. It has this nice, clean look to it for me.
Definitely the colors and the inking really set the mood. The inks, Lee Loffridge, which there's several books now that like I need to go have signed by him because like his colors just pop so much for me on those books and they fit the mood of the book perfectly.
Lee does like all the AWA books, I feel like now with Mike Deodato.
Yeah.
Which
I wouldn't be surprised because you look at Fourth Man or what is the new one, the Red Zone.
Yep,
has the same kind of look.
I think
to
it new, not all robots and stuff, but like it fits.
Nice thick, heavy shadows, and
it's beautiful.
Faux show.
Another one of the things in here in the Half a Life, the Montoya internal affairs back and forth and the games they were playing back and forth was interesting, and that's all the drama I need. Like just because they're like making sure they march her through in handcuffs through the patrol office. Like there's a lot of great stuff, and of course, I was talking to John earlier. There's the issue where Stacy's hallucinating that she's making out with Batman constantly.
That's a really great issue for me because I think obviously a series like this with two writers, it would be very difficult for an artist to keep up. So you need fillers, right? You need these, and this series was not ever designed, I think, as like one long story. It was more designed as like 2-3 issue arcs. It was like very short pieces, and I think those little throwaways can be a lot of fun. In fact, as I was stretching the spine on the omnibus, I noticed an issue later on where she's still daydreaming about Batman, where you get a little bit more of her.
It's so good. Which, I mean, as I'm reading this, I'm like, good golly, this is my favorite. So I screenshotted that because I have to send this to my wife eventually.
See, it fits for Stacy too, right?
Because it's spelled wrong.
Well, I mean, you can't.
She has an I instead of a Y, but the fact that it's like the person that has a crush on Batman in this is named the same as my wife. Like, it's
sadly, at your house, you're the one with the crush on Batman.
It is. It's true, but that's
reversed.
That's like I'm living vicariously through them.
Right. Yeah, through Stacy. Yeah, you're like, I want to flip the switch in the bat signal. Come on.
Come on, Batman.
So, further in the series, it becomes a little more bat-centric. He kind of keeps popping up more and more, and the series ends being tied into Infinite Crisis with like all the magic shit going crazy, and there's a lot of stuff, but it's also the documentation of how horrible things go for Montoya because her demons just keep growing and growing, and Jim Corrigan becomes a huge
but you're
character.
not supposed to spoil stuff for Greg, right? We're not.
No. Like the Corrigan, they mentioned Corrigan already in this book.
Yeah, Corrigan is a great foil for Montoya in a lot of ways, like all the way through. For those who don't know, he's the like crooked coroner who's clearly just happy to take a buck to do whatever you need in the coroner's office. And he and Renee butt heads a bunch because she wants things done right. He doesn't care. She's got secrets to hide. He's got secrets to hide. It's kind of a great back and forth between the two of them across the whole run.
And for the people wondering what happened to Harvey Bullock, I think it was Brubaker who did it. It was called Officer Down, where Jim Gordon gets shot. Okay. And Harvey bends the law to work in his favor and kind of does some dirty shit to take care of the person who shot
Harvey
Jim Gordon.
Would never. Oh yeah, that's Harvey Bullock. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that in? Because I've definitely read that story.
It was Officer Down. It was like that's the name of the series. It was a storyline that went through the books.
Okay, so it was
that's through Batman, or
it's through one of the Batman books then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have bounced between Batman and Detective, with each one picked up different parts.
Who was the bad guy in that one? Oh, that's going to bother me then.
So it wasn't really a bad guy. It was someone wanting revenge on Gordon, but it wasn't like a full-on bad guy, if I recall. It's been a long time. And in the second trade here with the Joker story, the Joker brings up something. So for anybody who hasn't read No Man's Land, the last 4 issues were some of the heaviest issues I've ever read. And it made reading all of the crap before that totally worth it. Because when Sarah Essen, when she, with Joker, kills her protecting children, babies, so he walks out and he goes, "Arrest me. I killed Lieutenant Essen," and throws down his gun, like basically daring them to kill him.
Yeah.
And Diodato did the art for it, and it was just so well written. And I highly recommend, because when Bane shows up in Gotham during No Man's Land, in that last like 5 to 6 issues, shit just goes crazy. And it's so great. And it ends like with New Year's Eve with Batman and Jim Gordon having a talk on the roof. Jim's crying and he's like, "Was it worth it?" And Batman's just like, "I don't have an answer for you."
Yeah,
No Man's Land has always been one of those Batman stories where I've read a couple of issues, but it seemed so big. I never felt like I could get around it. Like I never felt like I could get to any pieces of it without feeling overwhelmed.
There was,
I look at it's like 3 omnibus, right? Isn't it like 3
Yes.
omnis? That's insane.
There was just
I mean,
way too many
it's
side books.
impressive in scope, and the fact that they were able to do this, and what a great idea. It just seems like a ton. Like I can't imagine ever.
So what I need to do is I need to do a No Man's Land TikTok series for John, how he gets people into House of Powers. Because I'm sitting here, you're like, "Oh, it's too big of a scope," and then you're like, read Hickman's X-Men universe.
Well, see, most of my videos are not telling people to read stuff. It's telling me listen to this, and then you don't have to.
Uh-oh.
So if you do that, that would definitely save me a lot.
Pardon me, everybody. We have a comic book writer now joining us. And here we go with Fire Guy Ryan.
Hey. God damn it. That's how you're going to introduce me now? I got to go.
I told him to say acquaintance of the show, and he did not do that.
I'm excited for you having your comic book coming out. Like,
Me too.
It's big news, and it's in the previews catalog. We've all put the catalog ID number so you can order it into our stories and count stuff.
I did not do that, actually.
Oh,
No, I did not do that.
I think that was just you. I didn't even do that.
I've read the Mad Hatter arc, because that's the one with the baseball team, right?
Yes, with the it's basically it's not spoiling anything, but it's based.
Well, I've read it, so we can talk about it. No, I'm saying I've read it, so we didn't talk about that.
But it's basically a suicide bomber story is the concept, where you have these bombers and these things going off and had gone off long ago, and all of a sudden people are realizing it may not have just been a depressed or frustrated, angry kid. It may have been somebody who was being mind controlled who did it.
So good.
We've already
like the
evoked that
record
the
to
wire was
show.
like this.
I would like the record to show I've been sitting here watching you guys for like 10 minutes and like scrolling and refreshing the Comic Tom YouTube page, waiting for I have to edit a video. It's basically what's about I have to review a video. And it's taken way too long. So I just said, I'm going to jump in and I'll mute myself and just like pop out and
there you go.
Come back. Shouldn't take too long.
So quick thoughts on Gotham Central.
I like it. I was going to read some today.
Great. Thanks for coming.
I was going to read some today, but I got sidetracked and I was reading a book instead for some stupid reason. Like an actual book with no pictures.
What book?
I was reading The Ruins. It's the movie version, at least, is a big influence on our comic book, and I've only read the book one time.
Wait, the one with the plants that come alive, that Ruins?
Spoilers, but yeah, that one. It's based on a book.
Spoilers.
I sorry, I saw that movie and it had been a while. I just remember it had a very, very drab ending.
The movie
I had to zoom in to look at what's behind Ryan there, and it's amazing how many of the books we have in common. It's kind of crazy. But it does give me some ideas of stuff I need to pick up that I'm like, I've never read Harrow County. I've never read that.
Oh, Harrow County is good.
How can you look at his books that closely?
It's way too blasted out. My light is way too bright right now.
John's just zooming in.
No, I recognize the 3 Green Lanterns because I got those.
Okay,
obviously Deadly Class. Then when I zoomed in, I was like, "Ooh, the Absolute Batman Year One, Absolute Killing Joke."
Ryan, we got our Deadly Class books.
I haven't read those yet, but they're there.
But they're there.
They're back here.
They're
there. The fourth hardcover comes out next month.
It's about to, isn't it? Over,
yeah,
right?
It comes out in June. I think.
Yeah, it's over. DCBS had it for $29.99.
Gideon Falls. I see Die. Yes.
Thank you.
All-Star
This-
Superman.
This
Should I
show
move?
is your
Maybe
fault,
See
Carlito.
some of those ones.
I have not read any of the boys, so you got
It's
the
fine.
boys.
I really haven't either. I have a little bookmark sitting right
Hey,
here.
Ryan.
Is that
Number
Sin
one.
City all down there too?
Oh yeah, I got the whole.
I've got the
whole
boys
set.
right here too, Ryan.
See?
I've got my Black Hammers from John.
There we go.
So there's a few of those that I need to grab. Then Harrow County.
Harrow
It's cool.
County's
It's got really good painted artwork in there. I like Tyler Crook a lot.
I like The Sixth Gun also by Cullen Bunn.
Cullen Bunn is kind of hit or miss for me.
It's hit and miss, but that one
Yeah.
I kind of liked.
What's the Dark Horse one right directly behind your elbow?
The dark. This guy.
Yeah.
That's
what's that?
Hellboy.
That makes sense. Tom would not let you not have that.
Oh, and I
That
got
one's
him.
for
I
you,
got him
John.
on my own. I'm double dipping. I could just borrow his. He's got these exact same ones, but I want them.
Oh, get out of here, Gord. Come on, man. What are you doing to me?
Cormac
Well,
McCarthy's on my.
we were just talking nice to each other. Now you're gonna like get us arguing.
Oh,
I heard you guys
shut it.
talking trash about Carlito a little bit earlier too.
No, don't
That's
say you
respectable.
were. These two
That
were
was
talking
definitely
trash,
me.
and
That
I'm
was
the one that gets.
definitely
I'm
me.
the one that gets in trouble. Like
Oh,
Carlito's
great.
like,
Carlito's
Greg
here.
Joey's
I
giving
know.
me
I said
grief.
this show happened because of Carlito because he couldn't watch the movies that he told us to watch.
Right.
Like this, you guys are always giving him grief, and then
Yep.
I'm the one. I chime in one time, and he's like, "Oh, Greg hates me," but John and Dan.
Yep.
Watch out,
Terrible.
John's got a wrench in here.
This is accurate. Yeah,
I
but I'm
don't-
not using my phone, so you know.
No,
can't do
okay.
That's all for
So
show.
I know Ryan, you're a pretty big Brubaker fan,
Mhm.
from what I recall. Where would you
That's right.
rank this
That's
in
right.
his work?
I love you too, Carlito.
I haven't read nearly enough. I think I have. I think I've read a lot of Brubaker stuff, but I haven't read nearly enough of Gotham Central. I think I just read the first 2 trades, and this was like last summer. I was gonna read some more today, but yeah, again, I got sidetracked. But I know I
Yeah.
liked it. I really liked it, and it's always been one of those things that I know I could just. It's sort of like my Desmond Hume book. You know, you gotta save something for like a rainy day. You know, and Gotham Central is just always there. So I know whenever I want to have something excellent to crack into, I will have it. Have any of you mentioned this book yet? Has this come up at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
actually
the
read that.
GCP. I've been reading it.
This is Gotham Central like 2. This is like a sequel.
Who's doing that one? I can't remember.
This is John Ridley.
Yeah,
because I
'cause
think I
there's
read
that
the
one, there's
first
the-
issue and then I decided to wait on the trades.
It's very what's going on with the police today, and Montoya is the commissioner now, and having to deal with a ton of shit.
It follows like 3 recent graduates from the academy who become like actual cops now, and like
Recruits,
goes over their journey. It's very much like The Wire. It's one of my favorite books I've read in a very long time, and it is definitely like Gotham Central 2.0.
Nice.
Gotham Year One's been good by Tom King too. I've enjoyed that noir.
Yep.
I like
feel
this
of
one a
it.
lot better. But yeah,
Oh,
Is is there a plan? Are either of those? None of those are ongoing, right? They're like mini or maxi.
That was
No.
that was a
they're both
mini-
6 issues,
Yep.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I could see that GCPD one coming back. I don't know what the sales have been, but
Hopefully good, but I didn't see a lot of people talking about it. I'm just
No.
kind of off on an island of solitude.
We're just talking
Enjoying
about how we
this.
love Batman police style books, and none of us are picking it up.
Go
I
do
am-
it.
If it had been
Yeah.
written by Brubaker or Rucka, I probably would have
There's-
kept with it.
There's a bit
Because
of,
of
the,
that first issue being like, it's good, it's just not as good. I was like, I'll wait and I'll read the trade,
Yeah.
and I'm fine still doing that.
it'd be fine as a trade.
I mean,
also-
I preferred this series in being able to just gobble it up in big chunks and not have to read it in like single issues.
John Ridley's been hit and miss for me, but I did like the Secret History of the DC Universe or the Untold History or whatever it was with
Yeah.
all the different. Because the one on the Titans, I really thought was really good.
And Ridley did I Am Batman, right?
Yeah.
I've enjoyed that book. I've
Which I
enjoyed
enjoyed.
Black
until it
Panther has
ended.
been really good. His Black Panther one just
Yes,
wrapped
that's
up.
been good.
I quite enjoyed that. And this book is one of my favorites I've read in ages. So I haven't read the other history of the DC universe. I need to do that.
I think they just came out with the big trade of it all.
Because it's a large format, right? A black
Yeah.
label?
Yeah.
I also like Rucka is someone like everybody says Whiteout's his best work, and I don't know if I agree with that. Because I am a huge fan of Lazarus.
Sure. I mean, I like Greg Rucka, period. I think he's just really talented. I really have not read anything by him and been upset or disappointed by it. I've always, at the worst, I felt like, no, it was good. It was entertaining. That's like the
Rucka
worst.
just have one of those oversized issues come out of a series recently. Was that Rucka? The spaceship.
What are some of his greatest hits? I don't even know if I've read any Greg Rucka.
So Batwoman with J.H. Williams was
Yes.
probably his biggest with Elegy. Black Magic with Nicola Scott.
Got magic
Lazarus.
fast.
Whiteout was the one that became the movie with Kate.
Beckinsale.
Yes.
It was just a
it
guess.
Did not do well.
Oh, he did a Wonder Woman run that I really liked.
Yes, Wonder Woman was really
obviously
good.
his big like TV hit was Old Guard, the
Yes.
movie or the mini. Was it a movie or a miniseries? I can't remember.
It was
on
a Netflix movie.
Yeah, that was his book. He created that. What else we got here? Lazarus.
Yes,
Lazarus is a good one. I've read the first trade of that. I like that.
I'm just a big poser.
Freaking hey, Lois. He did that Lois Lane maxi series just like
Oh,
a couple
that's
years
right.
ago.
We
That
love
was
that.
freaking
Yes.
amazing.
I have read that then. Okay.
Love
His
that.
Superman run
One
was
thing.
really good too, going into Infinite Crisis.
Let's see here.
Stumptown,
He did a
yes.
Wolverine. He did a Wolverine run.
Oh, was Stumptown Rucka?
Stumptown,
Yeah.
yes, Stumptown.
That's
is one
because
of his.
that was also a TV series too.
That was a good show.
I didn't see that, but
I watched the show and did not read the book, so I can't
And
speak to the book.
Brubaker, I would say Pulp is still, I think, my favorite work by him.
See, there you go. I gave you a few.
Okay.
Pulp is fantastic. I think it's right up there as his best, and people love that Captain America run. It's good. It's not my favorite.
It's it's very entertaining. I prefer Brubaker's Daredevil to that.
Sleeper was good. Criminal, I'm not as high on as others.
I think I got to go Criminal.
I like Sleeper, but I like that Alan Moore world of Wildstorm for a while that he did with Travis Charest. So like them having Tao as the major villain in Sleeper was just interesting to me.
I have Pulp. I still need to read it. It's on my shelf.
So good.
Quick one.
Yeah, I haven't read Pulp,
Yeah.
but I've been loving the Reckless series. I've been devouring the Reckless books like crazy. I'm on the last one right now.
Got all those too.
Look what I found in my Pulp book that I bought.
Hey.
Oh. Is it signed little bookplate?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
As much as I do love Criminal, and I've really been entertained by it, never been disappointed by it. It fades for me. Like it doesn't hold like to my spirit in a way. Like Reckless, I can remember every single detail, every character. I think the characters are just more entertaining to me.
I literally devoured Criminal all at once in one weekend, and it was
Nice.
like one of the highest experiences in comic books I think
I
I've
love
had
it.
in
It's
my
perfect.
whole life.
It's
It's so
good.
layered. It's so dense. It
Yeah.
everything ties together. Like it's
Yeah.
a deep family story on top.
I think
of
I'm only halfway through it. I don't the whole thing. I think I'm only about halfway. I think I've done like 5 trades.
Oh, the fade out. I liked, and oh god, what was the other one with the Femme Fatale
Fatale.
or Fatale? Yeah.
Lovecraft, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking. I've read the Kill or Be Killed series. That's what I was trying to think of when.
Oh, and I just bought
Yeah.
his omnibus for his Catwoman of East End or Catwoman of
With Darwin.
with Darwin Cook, and I've never read it before, but it's Darwin Cook and Ed Brubaker. And Catwoman. I was like, screw this. I'm just buying I'm buying
Loves
the
him
omnibus.
some Slam Bradley.
I've been on the record a couple times saying Brubaker Phillips is my favorite creative team in the history of comics.
It's hard to argue. Hard to argue against that.
They're really good. They fit each other so well, and I love when you can have that artist and writer who just can work off each other like that.
Well, and that's what I'm liking because I'm assuming Jacob is his son, right?
Phillips,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. So
believe
like
so.
that's what I'm almost positive he is.
Yeah,
that's what
I
I'm
think
loving
that's
about
what I
that
had heard
Texas
as well.
Blood, like
Yeah.
with him and Chris Condon.
Yeah.
Of kind of, I'm not putting them up as Brubaker and Phillips yet, but like I like that. I think they have a good pairing with the art to the writing style, and
I remember Jen and I hating that Texas Blood when it came out. The first issue just was not very good, in my opinion.
Oh, he's walking away from you. Look, wow. Here's my.
But
it's
after
funny.
that, like when it got the serial killer and everything in there, it got really good.
Well, I had the opposite impression. I read the first issue of that Texas Blood, issue number 1. I thought was a freaking masterpiece. I thought issue 1 with the sheriff and the food in the car and all those silly. I was like, I love this
casserole.
book. I love all of it. I want more casserole. The second issue will look like a fucking zombie comic. And I was like, I don't want another like end of the world stupid Walking Dead book. So I stopped reading it because I was like, if this is where this book is going, it's fucking zombies.
Have you gone back into it at all?
Never went back.
Because it's nothing like what you think in the second issue. I think they find their rhythm each volume, and it gets just better and better.
That
and
second issue was so bad, I threw it away. I did not even bag and board.
When it gets to the Charles Manson type,
I was like, "This is garbage."
Satanist, it gets good, and then the
What
Red
book is
Queen.
This is that Texas
Blood.
I never had a comic give me a more stark issue 1 and issue 2, where I literally felt like I read 2 different comics. Like I was like, "This is I wanted more of issue 1," and I got issue 2, and I was like,
"From what I've
done
gathered,
enough dystopian zombies. I'm done."
Well, see, but it's not even zombies. There aren't zombies in it.
It looked enough like zombies.
Like I was like, so
that's like people that are like, no,
they're infected.
Deceased isn't zombies. They're anti-life.
No, those are. I mean, without spoiling. I mean,
28 days later,
that's like a dead person is literally just. It is a vision that he is having. It's not part of the story. Like it's not. It is what they've done now is they've taken realistic stories and they've shown it through as this sheriff is growing up and like. Where if you've been a sheriff on the job for 30, 40 years, you probably had some Buck Wild stories. Truly. And so now each arc is basically one of the Buck Wild stories that like he has to deal with. So like Dan says, there's like a Charles Manson kind of serial killer religious. So you have a actual serial killer thing in the next arc.
I know several people like Chris from Lost in Comics that loves it. And I've never been able to go. I'm not going to buy the trade. I'm not independently going to buy the trade. I'm going to need to find it for like a stupid price before I'm even willing to give it a shot.
All right. So
I bought it on sale for Comixology a few years ago, real cheap. I haven't read it, but it's there.
So John,
issue 1 is really cool. What I love about issue 1 is how paced it is. And again, reminds me of the best of Brubaker, like this series, because nothing feels rushed.
Yeah.
Everything feels like measured and characters get chances to breathe. Nothing just feels like, we got to get to the villain reveal at the end and a quick twist and then drop next issue next week. And then I read issue 2 and it was like all the shitty tropes of comics come out in issue 2. And I was like, you guys just completely screwed the pooch on that one.
Well,
and it sounds like Gore and I are in a full agreement on that one. So I don't know. Maybe
looks like I got to send the trade to John.
Force ourselves to read the first trade or the second trade.
Looks like I got to send you some stuff. Well, because I think they do find their rhythm as because I think this is Condon's first stuff that he's written or pretty close to it. That they have found their rhythm now that they're in issue 18 or something that they play off each other so well. I might even skip just giving you the first trade and just send you the second one because I think
it dramatically improved the second story arc, night and day.
Yeah, because I think if I was going to go back and try and win someone on it, it would be second or third arc. I'd be like, yep.
But will I even remember at that point any of these characters by then? I don't know.
Oh, then I'm
going to be like, I know the character and his casseroles. That's all I remember.
Yeah, all you need to know is this Joe Bob is the sheriff, and he's he's just trying to figure out stuff. So
he reminded me of No Country for Old Men. The sheriff?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, I was like Tommy Lee Jones. That's how I picture. That's basically Tommy Lee Jones.
I'm talking shit about No Country for Old Men.
No, I was saying that I liked the sheriff, and I liked that it reminded me of. It felt like a Coen Brothers. Honestly, the first issue gave me Coen vibes. Then it turned into a zombie book, and for me, at least, that's how it felt. That second issue, gave me serious supernatural monster vibes, and I was like, I don't need another horror
John after his Cormac McCarthy hate.
Yeah, my issues with No Country for Old Men are not with the Coen Brothers, and they're not with the visual aesthetic of that movie. They're definitely with Cormac. But do we want to dive into this again?
No.
I feel like this is well-trod territory.
Have you read Death and the Maidens by Greg Rucka with Klaus Janson, where they introduced Nissa Al Ghul?
I haven't.
So it's basically Roz is dying, so he goes and he's trying to find the last Lazarus pit, and Talia goes and meets her half-sister that she'd never met, Nissa, before. And Nissa, throughout her life, Roz has killed. He gave her up to the Nazis during Auschwitz and had her killed, and then brought her back and made sure her child died. He kept bringing her back and just broke her.
Yikes!
So she decides to keep killing Talia until she breaks her mind and spirit.
Sounds fun.
It's pretty heavy, but it's one of those weird Ra's al Ghul stories where he hadn't been around for a while. So I was like, oh, well, I'll pick it up. And then I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on?
Is it weirder than Morrison's Ra's al Ghul stuff?
No, this is just very like vindictive. Like it's fucked up.
I enjoyed Morrison's Batman well enough, as much as I can enjoy a Morrison book.
Does Ra's al Ghul fight Batman with no shirt while Batman's still wearing his cowl but no shirt with swords?
Batman's barely in this book.
Well, then I don't want to read it. If they don't have a shirtless sword fight, no. I don't want to read it.
I mean, that's what we put.
Does he have chest hair in it?
Right? If
that was Neil Adams, I have to put chest hair on him.
You bet your buddy does.
Correct.
I've missed you, Gore.
We all do.
I haven't been in enough live streams lately.
That's why you both need to read Deadly Class so you can watch me and Gore talk every other month or every month.
I'm trying to decide on something to do with movies to have Gore come on and talk because he's yet to be on my channel. I've yet to have him join in.
I just like that I've been on a show with Gore and you haven't.
Actually, no, I was on Justin's channel 2 weeks ago. He did an X-Men issue. So
I just find it super weird that like JP's doing a Philadelphia show in Deadly Class, and there's been nobody more outspoken about those two books.
Even I know that.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I work a lot.
Me too. I don't have time to watch all these movies you guys always talk about. I got time for that.
I know. I was crushing all of these movies, the Guy Ritchie movies, and
you pick bad movies, so it's like I can easily pass.
Ugh. See, that's why we need you to take a stab at this.
Yeah, but then I'd have to watch a bunch of Guy Ritchie movies.
I mean, it's true. Is Greg next? Is Greg
next? And
yeah.
I've got two. I'm gonna bring both. I'm gonna bring both to the table and just let you guys pick. I don't even care.
So we'll like let the audience vote, kind of thing.
It'll be the audience and y'all pick. Like, and I think because they're gonna be both so.
I can make a straw poll for you, and then we can drop the link.
See, I have a director I think that Ryan would want to be on for.
Okay, but a good director that I would.
Ryan really just wants a filmmaker who's only done a handful of movies, and they're all
I've already
watched. Yourself.
David Eggers,
yeah, and they all want to make you die.
Or not Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers. What is that? Witch and the Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse and the Northman.
Jordan Peele's done what, 3 movies?
Yeah,
so you can watch 3 movies. Get Out, Us, and Nope, and be done.
Yeah, those are good examples.
He was thinking the Safdie brothers.
Mm-hmm. Also 2 movies.
Is it the Safdie brothers? They only have like 3 movies, right?
Yeah, 2 big ones. A lot of indie stuff, short films and shit and such.
I don't know if I could watch Us again. Like,
I don't like Us.
I didn't like it either.
I feel like I'm in the minority on that one.
It was fine, but
it was fine. I feel like it's fine. I haven't seen Nope yet, so
me neither.
Welcome to Movie Talk.
I mean, Dan, did you expect this to
had to happen at some point?
No, I never expect anything to stay on topic, and Tessa's learned that very quickly. That it's just
I've tried watching your guys' show, and I have to bail. I mean, the other day I was working, and I couldn't watch the whole thing anyway. But like, it just straight off course. Or you talk about X-Men.
Oh, that's a hard.
Yep.
Yeah. I think.
JK.
I mean, once we started talking about the artists and everything, it started.
Stayed on course. X-Men villain card.
We stayed on course once we got on talking about underappreciated artists and stuff, but both of them were collecting X-Men runs, so I thought it was an interesting topic to bring up. And then I realized I stopped spending my money on X-Men except for picking up cheap bronze issues.
It's all right. I sent John a message when I was at C2E2 of me holding up a slabbed X-Men #2, and I was like, "Look what I bought, John!" And he's like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "JK, dude, it was Justin."
I did not. No, I was like, "No way!" Come on.
But I made sure we did it in the hotel room, so he knew that it was purchased, like that it wasn't just like me holding it up at a Comic-Con.
But John got an Avengers 4?
1.
What? Oh, 1. Oh, that was an Avengers 1 you got. Oh,
I have yet to put it away. I've yet to put it anywhere.
I mean, why would you? It just needs to be sitting there in all its glory.
Forever. Just always sitting around, ready at the grab. And then issue 2 is right there.
I mean, as far as like Silver Age to pick up, Avengers isn't the most expensive. Same with Daredevil. Daredevil's not too expensive. Not like Spider-Man.
Issue 1 obviously is the killer on Daredevil.
Yeah. I think the earliest I had in my hands that was almost near mint, I was like, and near mint minus was Daredevil 4.
That's the Purple Man?
It's Stiltman, if I recall.
Stiltman, okay.
What's up?
Did you just yawn at Daredevil bearded? What the heck, man?
No, I just yawned because I'm it's 10:30 and
okay. That's acceptable as long as it's not intentional.
I was gonna say wait, you who it's what 7:30 your time that you'll go to bed an hour from now. So like I only want to hear
I'm ready for bed now, whenever you say.
I've never seen someone so eager to edit where Ryan's just like, come on, just keep refreshing.
Guys, I just want to get off this stream. Like send me this video.
I'll stay on it. I'm just gonna mute myself. If that's okay, I want you guys.
That's what I thought you did. That's why I thought
when
you walked away earlier, I was like, oh, he's clearly going to.
I had to turn my light down. It was blasting me.
It was hard to see in the back some of your cool books.
And you gotta show off all the books.
Yeah, that John was like, what's that? What?
I'm taking notes. I always take notes.
For me, this is a must-read series for a Batman fan, or if you like crime noir, I think this is solid, especially since it deals so little with Batman, except for, his ever-present shadow.
It's refreshing.
I don't know if there's a series I would recommend that was close to this, other than, hey, go watch The Wire.
GCPD.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that new GCPD, that was good.
It does. Now that I've heard you guys talk about, I heard you mention Two-Face and Renee Montoya, and it definitely plays off of that relationship from that book. So it's like,
yeah,
it's good for new readers, but like it definitely rewards having read Gotham Central first.
Now I want to explore that a little bit. It's only 6 issues, so I can do that.
Yep.
Is it finished yet, or are they still going?
It just finished.
Yeah.
And
then I'm definitely just waiting for a trade, but
fairly heavy ending. Had some decent B covers too.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to grab the collection as well. Double dipping.
When do you not double dip?
Not that often.
With chips, you never double
You sure about that? You sure about that?
You
sure about that? You sure about that?
I double dip on like some AWA books that I really like, but that's also been a while because AWA has kind of fallen off for me a little bit lately.
So
what do you think about Red Zone? Do you like Red Zone?
I don't hate it, but I feel like it's kind of just by the numbers kind of action movie.
I think the Joneses vibe I got was the last one I liked.
I really didn't like the Joneses either.
I like that. And then what was the one by Benjamin Percy with the truck drivers and
Devil's Highway? I didn't really.
Yeah, Devil's Highway. I liked.
But we're getting a Mark Russell one here eventually.
I'm into it. Although Traveling to Mars has like broken my soul in so many ways.
Well, because it's funny because I sent you that clip when I had Mark on and he talked about his AWA book, and I've heard no announcement about it or stuff coming. Like he said, it's going to happen towards the end of this year, but still, it was like, I'm like, man, I'm sold.
I've heard been shamed about Mark Russell because I was like, I don't read Superman except if it's by Federici.
I know Tessa shamed you, luckily, and then I caught that and shamed you as well.
I'll shame you too. I'm not sure exactly what for, but I'll shame you.
I just love Second Coming so much that like I generally try to give Mark Russell a chance.
Are you reading Trinity?
Trinity? I don't even know. I've ever heard of that one.
It's the third arc.
Oh, Second Coming Trinity is what it's called? Okay, I've been getting it in trade. So is that
okay? Issue 1 just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
For the
Okay.
So so we're getting the third final.
Yeah. He balances the comedy and the heavy really well in that series, which I think is a really tricky balancing act.
He's letting all the heavy out in Traveling to Mars. There's like no comedy. It's just
no comedy.
If you want to be like,
if you want to like, oh, Mark only writes comedy, And you're like, he doesn't write anything else, just throw Traveling to Mars. And you're
So
like,
Ryan, are you saying it's one of your favorite books?
No, it hurts.
It
hurts. It makes me
hurts.
like
It's
question my
emotionally-
whole existence.
it's like, it's not even like, it like gut punches you, and you're just like, ouch.
Why
Like,
am I alive? Why even bother? Why continue to live? What's the point?
and
Like, it's
what I
all those
love
kind
is
of
like
vibes.
it's a weird, like, it's like, I forget what he said, is like a 13 issue series. Like, it's the most absurd number because it was just because it was 13 because I think I texted Ryan. I'm like, hey, you know how how Traveling to Mars has just wrecked you? And this was like when we're on issue 4. He's like, yeah. He's like, is it wrapping up soon? I'm like, nah, there's 13 issues of this.
But I love him so much, and it's written really well, and it's bleak and it's dark, and I'm gonna get the whole run. But like, God, it's like I got to make sure I do something immediately afterwards to make.
It's just like punishing yourself, because that was Sean Lewis's Bliss with Caitlin Yarsky, where like every issue I'd finish up like, I feel dirty after reading this. So much horrible shit happened in this book.
Yeah, that's never good.
It's a great series though, like especially if you have daddy issues at all, like it wraps it up in a nice little bow at the end.
Yeah, Traveling to Mars is probably the first series where I'm like, I don't want to read it in trade. I'm really glad that I'm reading it in single issues because it's just, I can like, okay. But yeah,
It's hard to recommend it.
Now I'm looking this up.
I'm more impressed that like Ryan's books behind him are alphabetized perfectly.
Of course, dude. You know me.
Thank you, John, for
because I prefer to have them by character. So you got Dark
Ugh.
Avengers over here, but Avengers over there. I kind of feel like I just make an Avengers section.
Well,
So
be those two
I saw
books,
Dark
and that's
Avengers
it.
out of spot. I'm really into your background right at this point.
I'm
See?
Batman.
Yeah.
The boys.
Well, I'll start with B though.
Now wait. If you had like Dark Legends of the Dark Knight, would it end
let
up
me
in the
hold on,
L's?
John. Let me Batman. Oh, Gotham Central in the G's.
Boo. See, boo.
As it should be.
See, I'm admittedly I don't have any of my crap
Oh,
alphabetized.
you know what else is right by Gotham Central? Grayson, because it belongs in the G's.
Boo.
You gonna put that with the Robin stuff? Is that
I
how your
just
system
have an
works?
entire Batman shelf. I just put all the Batman stuff on one shelf.
What if you walk in there and you're like, I want to read Gotham Central, and you don't
I go to the Batman shelf and it's right freaking there.
Ah,
Ew, that's gross. No.
how do you keep that straight?
The thing that really hurts me is upper
Organized
right
chaos.
based on my view, upper right corner you've got a Green Lantern. Bottom left corner you got Green Lantern.
Because it's the end of the shelf, and it
It's
goes
So
killing me.
fat, they don't
It's
fit.
killing me.
and it's the end of the shelf. It goes back down.
It hurts right here.
So you're saying I should
Right
put
now,
Green
Dad's like,
Lanterns
wait,
over
I
here?
thought John was the one that kept this crap on the rails.
No.
This
No,
is
no,
where this is where
I'm
I
fascinated because I started looking at my bookcase going, I don't have this shit in any kind of order. I just know where stuff is.
John, have you seen my long boxes are all alphabetical?
Oh, my long boxes
Yeah,
are.
I don't do it. I all do my stuff's all by character.
The amount of
You're a
rear
teacher. When I know I
How
want
does
an
this
Avengers
work?
book, I go to the Avengers box.
John's got a card catalog.
I will say I now in my singles, my only one that I've done that with officially where I pulled it out of order is I now have a Batman long box table because I've got 8 long boxes of just Batman books that
I should do that with Green Lantern, but I don't because I'm a slave to the alphabet.
now, but that is also Batman. It is not Robin, it's not Batgirl, it's not it. Those still go in order, but if
What
I
if
want
it's
a
Batman
Batman,
and Robin.
That's impressive.
Batman and
I don't think I
Batman-
even have 7 long boxes of mutant books.
I'm sure
Like
you do. John.
me.
well, I mean, my Batman Volume 1 run is what 3 long boxes in of itself. It's 713, or
You're so
you know,
sexy right now.
he getting turned on watching.
You're working it.
While
He's just
you're
watching
watching
his
yourself.
face on you.
I'm looking at my face, but hearing your voice, and it's all just beautiful.
I mean, it makes sense. So
And that's how you get the 2 cases.
Yeah, I can't do the alphabetizing. I generally do by character, or in the case of Image, I have an entire Image comics shelf, which just all my Image books are together.
no, they're all split.
I used to have a box of thinking about getting graded, and it's still there because I haven't bothered getting anything graded.
Oh,
I mean, like I have an autograph box. where it's
Kachung,
like
pick a
the
freaking
autograph.
lane. This is bullcrap.
If they're autographed, I have them in a separate autograph box so they don't fit into the regular.
That's interesting. Okay.
I don't have a
Well,
whole
because
lot of autographed books.
if I'm looking for a raw book, I don't remember who I get to sign books. So if I have them, I get a lot of books at con sign. So I just have an autograph book.
That's smart.
I think maybe the only ones that fit in there that still go in the non-autographed is Batman. Like I have the Jim Starlin death of Jason Todd's arc, and I think those are in the regular run. But
the only thing I could allow is like I've seen people have like the box of the most valuable stuff to grab in case your house burns down and you want to grab something and run, and like which one box do you grab?
Reggie calls the "Oh Sugar" box. Because it's what you like. Oh, sugar! I gotta get out of here. And you grab it.
Yeah, I'm not grabbing comics. I guess I'll just grab my entire bookshelf behind me and waddle out.
I would hope you grab a cat and then go.
No, they're fine.
They got like
open the door,
window.
Well, most of those books are on my wall, so I just have to like knock them off the wall real quick and then get them in a book.
So I have a friend who has the Green Lantern, Green Arrow series, or Green Arrow, Green Lantern. Green Arrow is their favorite characters. They have Green Arrow alphabetized first on that instead of Green Lantern. Sure, where I would put it Green Lantern.
Technically, it's a Green Lantern book. So
yeah,
that's fair.
I can legitimately say I have 0 things alphabetized in my collection. I can't think of any section of my collection where it's alphabetized.
What about your Blu-rays?
Oh crap! You got it.
Okay.
Look at this guy.
Not only
my Batman so well.
Not only my Batman Volume 1 they're all in a section. They are numerically ordered as well.
Oh God, fuck! I'm not a monster. Yeah, of course it's numerical. Holy crap!
I don't know. You're just like throwing out like
I'm not just throwing shit in boxes and just hoping that later on I figure it out.
I don't know. Like, you sound like you live in a comic chaos
I'm
world.
not an animal. I'm not an animal here.
Chaos now. Like that's
sometimes I'll put them in the bag backwards, so I can't even tell.
Yeah, I don't even know. I put them in sideways. I just figured it out.
That's what it seems like you're doing with the way you.
Holy shit! No, it's Avengers Volume 1 numerical. Avengers Volume 2, like new Avengers.
You make it sound right in there as well. Alphabetized is nothing, and so then you're like
new Avengers.
But I'm going to numerical.
I do, but that goes in the ends. It's called New Avengers.
No, it's in the my Avengers cover like 2 or 3 boxes. But like, New Avengers.
I have West Coast Avengers under West Coast.
And they are those
West Coast Avengers should be under W, not Avengers.
That's where I've got them.
No, it's in the Avengers. But it's like chronological, so that would be in the 80s section somewhere of Avengers.
What do you do for like Amazing Spider-Man? I hate how that's under A.
Thankfully, I don't really collect much of that.
Right,
I have a very tiny like a Spider-Man box. It's just all my Spider-Man books fit in one little box.
Amazing Spider-Man, Uncanny
X-Men.
But
those Spider-Man books are before my teas. So I do have them. I do have a couple. Like if I have a lot of a character like Spider-Man,
right?
I have them with a tab, and one of those cool like little labels on the tab that says Spider-Man books, and then it will go to then what's ever after. So. So I have like a Daredevil section, and I do have like a Green Arrow section, but it still is in the D's or the G's. And
gotcha. Yeah, because Spider-Man, like to Fire Guy Ryan, you got the Spectacular, you got regular Spider-Man, you got Amazing Spider-Man.
They're all Spider-Man.
They're all like should be shuffled.
They're all Spider-Man, and they're all in the S's.
Yeah, I get it.
With all your X-Men crossovers, do you put them all together in order of the storyline, or do you keep them in their separate titles?
You're talking like the current stuff right now that they're doing,
like Inferno and all that shit. Like
the current stuff now, I've got
Mutant Massacre.
I've got 2 Hickman short boxes. It's all just Hickman era stuff, and it's all chronological, basically on week by week that I get it.
Or like Batman with No Man's Land, like would you put all of it just No Man's Land together?
I don't have the stomach for that many books. That's a ton of books, that No Man's Land. As far as my Batman shelves, Dave, what I've got is it's certainly by author. So like my Tim Sale stuff, Jeff Loeb stuff, that's going to be together. My Frank Miller stuff will be together. And I've got a couple of omnibus like this that are at one end. Just the omnis are together. It looks nicer by height. And I have 2 absolutes that are on either end. I got Year One and I got Killing Joke. Because those things are freaking huge.
That is one thing that I am going to have to do. This shelf is eventually going to be slightly unorganized and only like because the Deadly class is so much higher. I had to make this one this much.
But look how he's already like anxious about it. Like he's
but then
already
I have a book
he's
here
like,
called
I'm gonna have to do this, guys.
I
I'm
have a
gonna have to
book
do
called
this.
Of Bitter Souls. That I just
Everybody
picked
take a
up
deep breath.
These
This
deadly
Omni-
class ones are giant.
Non-alphabetical.
because it's
Those
so
things are
big.
huge. The deadly
Yeah.
class things are
But
giant.
like I only have like, and look, like this is
But that the two I noticed behind Ryan, the year one and the Killing Joke, those things are easily the biggest books I've got in my collection. They're just massive.
Absolutes are
And
tall.
fitting them on a shelf is so complicated.
The Preacher Omnibus also is like gigantic that I have.
Yep. I mean, the Sandman
Big
ones
hell out
are
of
they're
it.
just wide. They're not. It's the height that's like, holy cow, these things are enormous. Ooh, what's that?
This one?
Yeah, what's that? Oh, the
Oh.
absolute. Why the Last
Just
Man? I've
volume
not
one,
gone
though.
that deep. I'm still just have all my original trades.
Oh, that book is so overrated. Oh,
Get out of here.
I hate Why the Last Man.
He's a writer from Lost.
Saga's
Oh my
overrated.
god!
I'll say that. I'd get in
What's
trouble
that?
for that, but
It's a redundant book over and
Sorry.
over, except for the last issue.
What is? I couldn't hear Ryan. You said
Saga,
Saga's.
I think Saga's overrated.
Yeah,
even though
I
I'm
don't
not
like
allowed
it
to
as
say
much as
that.
Why the Last Man. But we're speaking
Yeah.
to Gore. I'm sure Gore's like, preach.
listen, the amount of street cred I got with Gore just because Stacy hated Saga issue number 1. Like Gore was just like,
It's a
like,
big part of his identity right now. I think Gore has really built a persona around his loathing of Saga, which is it's hilarious. The truth is I need to go back. I'm like 2 trades behind where they are currently, and I gotta catch back up again.
Current stuff is so boring.
Is it?
Yeah.
I
it's
stopped
real
it.
bad.
I've dropped it, and I'll wait to trade. Read
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm doing trades. But the truth is, I can hardly remember where I left off and what was
I don't
happening.
remember any of it at all.
And that's
anyway.
that's
It's
a
all-
bad sign.
It's
That's a
Walking
bad
Dead in
sign.
space. I don't like
Versus
just-
Deadly Class. I finished that first big hardcover. I'm dying to read the next 3 because I'm waiting for the 4th one to drop, and I'll just clear the whole thing out. But I know
Yeah.
exactly where I left off.
Get them from DCBS because they have them for $30 a piece and they have all the exclusive covers.
I usually just support my LCS when it comes to that kind of stuff and just buy if I know they're going to get it, because they usually get it earlier and cheaper than most other places I can find it with my discounts. They like all my Omnis I usually get from them when they first drop.
I just end up getting just the different covers since they have exclusives from there.
Yeah, I've started to get a lot more trades in Omnis, just not Omnis, but trades from my LCS because I got a 20% discount. So it's like,
well,
Except
and
for
those
Gotham
those
Central.
image hardcovers are
Except for that.
freaking amazing. I love the image hardcovers. That's like my new addiction. I mean, Ryan's got the Die one. The new Philadelphia one was great. The Deadly
Yes.
Class
That's here
ones.
too. The last one here
Freaking
too.
Murder Falcon looks phenomenal. That large size Murder Falcon is
I
beautiful.
need to get it still. I
I
was
so
hoping
good.
I was
I read Murder
actually
Falcon.
hoping that Daniel Warren Johnson had it at C2E2 and he had like a sign saying that he had it, and I was just like, dang it. I'm like, you're sold out, aren't you? He goes, yeah.
I get it. It's freaking phenomenal. Ryan, you read it, right? Murder Falcon.
I have not. I
Well-
have not.
well,
You would love that book, Ryan. You would love that book.
Yeah.
I didn't read it either. Remeder's putting out one of those.
Wait,
giant,
you haven't either,
companion-
Dan?
No, I like Daniel Warren Johnson. I just never read it because the title. You look at
No, I mean I get
Murder
it.
Falcon is like
I know people that skipped out on Do a Power Bomb because like I'm not a wrestling fan. And I'm like, you should read it because I think it's just you can enjoy it even if you're not a heavy metal fan. You can enjoy Murder Falcon. If you're not a Beta Ray
Bill hooked me
Bill
on
fan,
him.
Beta Ray Bill fan, you can enjoy that. I wasn't a huge Wonder Woman fan, but I enjoy his Dead Earth. Although maybe I'm a bigger Wonder Woman fan than
Gore's back in the chat. He heard us talking about Saga, not like
we were ripping on Saga for you, and
and Gore's like, the universe is calling me. It's like the
Remeder's
scene
putting
where
the-
like in Anchorman where they blow the conch
Yep.
shell, and it's like,
Yep.
Remeder's
Team
putting out
assemble.
everything in those big
News Team
compendiums now.
Unite. Yeah.
So
News
they have a
assemble.
low one with a new cover, and there's a Black Science one coming out with all the issues in one softback. And again, I will preach to the end of the world, Last God. Anybody who has not read that book,
Yeah.
buy it.
Read it.
It's cheaper in
Go
hardcover
read
than it
it.
is for the paperback.
I at MegaCon I saw
like
Philip
right
Kennedy
behind
Johnson had a table and nobody was saying hi to him, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So I went up and started talking to him. He had copies of that hardcover and I already owned one, but I was like, screw this, I'm buying a second one if you'll sign it. And he signed it, and then I got home, put it on the shelf, took my old one out, and mailed it off to White Whale Comics so that he could read it. Because he's a D&D guy. He would totally
Did he not? Did he not read that?
He never read it. Never read it.
Yeah. Is
So
there a report?
he now
Is there an
has
update?
one, so we're gonna have to book club that at some point.
Yeah, if you do that, like let me know, and I will try and get the day
Yes,
off to
for
do
sure.
that.
It's
I need
such a
an
good
excuse to
series.
reread it.
I've read it 3 times or two times. I think this will be my 3rd time. Wow. So
Yeah, I
good.
was showing Gambit, and he's like, "Who's Riccardo Federici? I've never heard of him." I was like, "Because you don't read DC much," and he's like almost exclusive to DC.
He's a god.
now.
He's a freaking god. I love it.
I loved his
Love
Superman
it.
stuff. And
Oh my god, it's so good.
I don't read Superman that much, but that run was really good with Philip Kenny Johnson and the Josh Williamson stuff that just came out. I've been really enjoying.
He's like Assad Ribic's better twin, is what Federici is. If you like Assad Ribic at all, which Assad Ribic, very talented, liked his stuff on God of Thunder. He's better. He's the better twin to that. He's got the same like aesthetic and some style, but like way better.
It just impressed me. The cover looked just like the interiors, and
yes,
you don't see that often.
Yeah,
you don't get that much these days.
Yeah,
No.
Anybody that bitches about covers and interiors not matching, that was the book to buy for sure.
Like I'm actually trying to think, other than like David Aja, like what you get on the cover is what you're getting in the interior.
Right. Well, there's not a lot of times where the artists do their own covers anymore. It's super, especially for the big 2. It's super rare.
Unfortunately, I just thought of Amazing Spider-Man by John Romita Jr. That's he does both.
Yeah, because people know when he's on a book, they want his art. They go for it. Either they love it or hate it. You know, it's kind of the way it is.
Unfortunately, I think I might like the art in that book right now more than the damn writing. Like,
the writing.
That's a deep part.
I was reading, what was it? Action Comics. I stopped reading Action Comics because JR's art was not for me.
I mean, I've been reading that just basically in the Philip Kennedy Johnson years here now with Federici. That was where I've been reading it for that, and I haven't caught up because I'm still missing. There's one trade they freaking haven't dropped yet to catch me up to where they are now.
Stephanie Hans is another one covering the interiors,
Are you saying that they're to die for?
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
I just miss being on the show with Ryan and Jennifer when literally the last 5 months that book was coming out, and Jennifer would just be like, I can't wait for this series to just die.
Because
every time she said it too.
Every time that book came out, she had to say, Jennifer had to say.
So she started doing the show with Mars, and then Mars just was like, this book needs to end, and I feel like it was like poisoning the well. And after that, Jen, every episode was like, I just need it to end. I'm done with it. Where I'm like, I just need it to end at 20.
I'm waiting for the kick. I paid for the Kickstarter for the board game, so the board game's due to come. It's the only Kickstarter I've ever really sponsored. What's up, Adrian?
Oh, they had a die Kickstarter.
They had a die Kickstarter with the full game, dice, artwork by Hans, rule book, the whole thing.
Ooh, John loves Scott Snyder.
Big fan. Big fan.
John Romita Jr., there's books that he's better on than his art matches better with. He's had some good Amazing Spider-Man, and Ryan's right. The writing in the book has been so fucking horrid. Who is it, Zeb Wells, or is it...
Zeb Wells, yeah. And I feel like it could be good. Zeb Wells strikes me as a writer who is capable, qualified, but it's in some weird, Mayan god, crazy dimension spanning, time jumpy stuff that's it's way too big for Spider-Man. It's...
Yeah, I kind of am in that, I wish J. Michael Straczynski would come back, and I never thought I would say that.
Yeah,
I know people are hoping that when Daredevil ends, Zdarsky moves over. I just don't think he's a good fit, but that's just me.
He's street level, although I never thought the guy who was on Sex Criminals was going to be a good writer for Daredevil, so...
I mean, I like Spider-Man as a street level hero. I just don't know that Zdarsky is the right guy for it. But I mean, Zdarsky, I feel like his Batman's been really disappointing, but that's just me. I've not enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't like the Elseworld Batman. It's been, but John, you will appreciate this. So when I was at C2E2, I have my Batman 50th book that I'm getting signed, everything.
Yeah.
The only person that was there that I needed was Tony Daniels. And of course, his line was right next to Scott's table. And so there was a line out the wazoo for And I'm not gonna get this. So finally, the last day at the end, I walked up to like someone working there. I'm like, hey, this line I know is like Scott and Tony. I'm like, I don't care about Scott. I just want Tony's signature on this book. I was like, he goes, oh no, if you just want Tony's signature, just go up to his table, like just skip this whole line. I was like,
that's the gem right there. That's the juice.
And then people were getting mad though because they were all waiting in line for Scott and then Tony. But Tony then was literally he took like 10 minutes to tell me how DC messed up the Batman 50 issue and like what his pitch would have been. And he's like, listen, this is what they should have done. They should have had him marry, and then this, and then like Catwoman die, and then eventually like 30 issues later, and then Batman has to like then is broken. And I'm just like, first off, I'm like, this is a great pitch. And second off, I'm like, I think people are getting mad because I skipped the whole line just to come talk to you, but now they want their Nocturne book. And he's like, oh, it's fine.
I love it. So, I don't remember. Zdarsky did a Spider-Man. Am I?
Yeah,
he did a Dark Web,
Friendly Neighborhood or something like that.
He did a 6-issue miniseries.
Did he do Life of Spider-Man?
No, that was was it?
He did Spectacular, I think.
He did a black label Marvel Spider-Man book, but it was like
Shadow.
A dark
Shadow.
Dark.
It's not Spider-Man life story though. He didn't.
Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man.
Spectacular,
okay.
Yeah.
It had the issue with the kid who had cancer that he like took and made Spider-Boy for the day.
Huh.
No, but
First appearance of Spider-Boy.
What was the Spider-Man? What was it series called? Because it was like a
Spider Shadow.
Was it Spider Shadow?
Symbiote never left him.
So there's one called just Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky. There was an omnibus
for John. He did do Spider-Man.
He did Life Story.
Oh, did he? Okay, I don't know.
Deal with that. Which is a great. So maybe I got to eat some crow. Maybe I got to eat some crow. He did a great job. It's a great Spidey story.
I feel like now John has to have like a fake crow to be like,
I'll just drink some whiskey instead.
A real crow.
There is an old crow bourbon that you can drink.
I just finished.
Spider Shadows. I know Ryan just said it, but now that Tessa has confirmed it, I believe it.
That's fair. I am wrong a lot.
Spider's Shadow.
That was supposed to be the start of a new line of like What If, but that never.
Most of us can aspire to being half handsome. Three quarters.
I'm 3/4 handsome.
When I get a good tan going,
this is taking me down. This shirt takes me
down.
It is.
It's gonna hurt. You're gonna take some
my
hits
value.
Yeah.
Disappointed with Zdarsky's DD.
Does it have me on the back too? Because that's when it really gets you. Yep, there it is.
I was like, why the heck is this T-shirt $40? And then I realized I paid for a double printing on both sides.
It auto selects as double.
I hate it. That's the only reason
I don't wear mine.
It's not even mine. Like it doesn't. I don't even get 25 cents when you buy that.
I don't get any money from any of my merch. I have it at the lowest bar, so I'm just like, just get it cheap.
Just buy some shit. Yeah.
He just gets the joy of people wearing his logo.
Yeah, all 3 people that own my shirt, I love. And so
I don't have
thank
one.
you. No,
I need one, but
I've got a Comic Tom shirt. I need to tell Tom he needs some Fire Guy Ryan merch.
Yeah.
I have a comic. I think I have a Comic Tom shirt.
I've got the one that he did that I think he doesn't sell anymore for X-Men. It was Gold Ballin'.
Oh yeah,
it's one of my favorite freaking shirts. It's hilarious. It just says Gold Ballin'. It looks like a gym shirt, and it's got Tom's logo in the center. I love that shirt.
I do love that.
So
that's
amazing.
A character that just is a joke.
Gold balls,
yeah.
But he's one of the 5 that like achieves resurrection. It's phenomenal.
That's why we made the phrase Gold
it's
Ball.
So good.
You pluck an obscure loser character and reinvent him and make him cool. That's gold balling somebody.
At the time, it like had no use, but I did love the character. Tempo, I think was her name, or the one who.
Yeah, we do need some Butch merch. I agree. My cat just came in the room. I don't know if she's going to start climbing and knocking things down. Be ready.
Probably. That's the
cat way. Just kept yelling.
That is.
I have one somewhere.
It's the Chicago way.
I will say, Bearded, that I found that it works better, that shirt, as a hoodie. I just did the zipper hoodie in the front, so there's no logo on the front. It's just on the back. And I wear that shit around. It's hilarious.
Well,
People
what
are
was
like,
it?
Are you wearing? Is that your own face on a shirt? To get it. It is.
Well, that's why I did the second logo, which D. Piercy always gives me grief for. He's like, why do you have 2 logos? I go, well, I have the BCB logo because I'm like, there might be people that don't want to have a T-shirt with my face on it. He's like, well, that's dumb.
Those people suck.
So yes, Tessa, yes, that is behind the scenes. This is the closet. This is where the pub table is that I do all stays hidden. That when I pull out for a character, and then all my different T-shirts, my comic themed T-shirts are on that table, so that way at any point I can change.
I don't know why, but I'm disappointed that there's not just like a window back there. I don't know why I thought there was.
I did too.
There's a window right up there in the unfinished part.
Way up there.
But that's that we got to be quiet because that's where Stacy is.
So Stacy hasn't yelled at me yet, so that means
I'm impressed you're not wearing the earphones. Like, aren't we going to be the noisy ones now?
Well,
it's not late.
Maybe
yet.
that might be the reason. Maybe with the earphones, I'm just like, nah!
This makes a steady monotone. Otherwise,
yeah. This knows I know what level I'm at all times, and
she just likes our voices. That's what it is.
I also have John's basketball team on in the background, so I'm.
I have a basketball team.
I don't know LA because you're from LA. So.
Oh, the Lakers. Yeah, I mean that's my brother's team. I prefer UCLA, like basketball, like job. UCLA basketball, college basketball.
It is a scary dark corner. This is where I'm allowed to have comics is in the basement, and that's it. So that's a lie. We've taken over all over the house. So
as it should. I have 3 spaces in my house. This is the man corner here, but I still have a few by the other.
What was that, Ryan, that you were showing?
He was about
muted and can't hear us.
He's like, I was just about to do the video.
Yeah, you guys started talking about basketball and stuff. So
I saw him grab the phone out. And I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, no. You guys started talking basketball, and
I literally said one word. We knew John was going to shut that down quickly.
Yeah,
it wasn't quick enough.
My bad.
Well,
I gotta watch this whole video.
We've hit an hour and a half.
We talked about Gotham Central for 30 minutes.
A half hour.
That's fair.
That's about with our normal ratio, right?
Tessa, we have many corners in our house, so that works.
Please focus on Ryan while he works.
But no, it's like it was when we moved in. We're like, I get the basement. Stacey can have everything else, but we definitely have a Batman wall up in the guest room or in the living room. There's a Batman bathroom in the first floor. The girls' playroom is Batman stuff. Now it's all Wonder Woman upstairs. So
I love it.
I just remember I had just moved in, and a woman I was dating came over, and she went to walk into my walk-in closet in my room. She goes, "What in the fuck is all this? It looks like a closet of death." And I'm like, "Which one did you walk in?" She's like, "The one near the bathroom." I was like, "Oh, that's my comic room." And she goes, "This is gonna fall on you, and you're gonna die one day." And I was like, "Okay, don't knock into anything."
You were gonna say she just said, "I gotta go."
No, never got.
It's my actual closet of death, so don't go in there.
Yeah, that's where my toys are.
Tessa, in our defense, we were actually on topic the entire time till Ryan came.
I ruined it. Yeah, that's fair.
No,
I talked about it for a little bit.
Whether we got there or not, we were on topic till Ryan came.
That's acceptable. I'll take it.
I listened. It was an informative broadcast.
Thank you.
It's very dry
and
and boring.
And Dan and John are also trying to be respectful of not spoiling too much more because I still got to finish the second.
Trying to boring. Thank you.
I will say,
always wanted to sound like a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Reading this,
so Ryan's the gravy on the turkey. Then
reading Gotham Central did make me want to hunt down the 2. If Renee Montoya has keys, like her first appearance and her first time as the Question, those are the books that I went and hunted down after finishing this series, just because I started feeling what a really cool character.
You paid $10 for the first appearance of Renee. I
did. It was a good deal.
I was gonna say if you don't, I think I actually have a handful of copies because I'm always like, I'll get it because
it's a book that you can get for real good.
Yeah, because it's Scarface. That was also Scarface is on the cover. Yeah. And it was the first time I ever almost walked out of a comic shop because that was where the guy was like, "Oh, hey, I haven't priced anything yet," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I'm looking through and I have a stack. He's like, "Hey, is this something?" He's like, "Let me know what you." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get these books." He hadn't priced anything. He came back with the Renee Montoya wouldn't unpriced, and he had a price tag on it, and then he said first appearance of Renee Montoya on it. I was like, no, I get it. That's why I picked it up. I was like, thank you. But he still charged me like $12 or something because like eBay was so like I still took it. So
I love the cover when she becomes the question from the 52 run. Yeah. It's a great cover for her. Obviously, the other one doesn't really have her on the cover because she's just a cop in the background of an issue where the focus is Batman and Scarface.
JP, you can get her first appearance. eBay it right now. You can get it probably for $12. If not, let me know. I probably have a copy and I can send it to you.
It's a great book to get and still super cheap, and eventually they'll get the character right.
If I even see a comic store start checking eBay.
No, I mean, like eventually they'll get it right in a movie or a show, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because obviously the Birds of Prey version, not a fan. Rosie Perez, bad casting.
Yeah.
Just
we would have got Michelle Rodriguez.
I still like that movie, but so
I don't know that I like that one any better.
No.
Oh, hey Ryan or JP, it's on first thing I looked at eBay. There is a $9.99 version of that now, shipping $6, but you can do a best offer. So again, you can get
a 9.8? Is that what you said?
$9.99.
I believe you said $9.99, which is even better than a 9.9.
I mean, there you go.
No, it's raw, gang.
Perfect.
That's a 9.99.
that way.
But no, I do like that movie. I don't think that was the best representation of Renee. Yes, thank you.
I need to watch it again, Tessa. My wife loves Ewan McGregor, so I'll probably watch it again for her. But I really didn't like it, and I usually like that kind of stuff. I
like Mary Winstead.
I think it's because I truly hate Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie.
So are you excited for Lady Gaga?
Awful. I think I'd be more interested in a Lady Gaga portrayal of that character.
Listen, my wife and I walked out Birds of Prey, and she walked out and she was like, that was so much fun. And I enjoyed it a lot. And if I can walk out of a movie and a comic book movie and my wife go, that was so much fun, I loved it. You give that type of movie to me all day long.
That was my wife with Ragnarok. She walked out, was like, I'm going to watch that movie again really soon.
And that's why we did the cooking show where she did the egg sandwich. She dressed up as Harley Quinn. Because she was like that. Yeah. Cast was off for me too. That was my big. I disliked the cast more than I did Renee. Cassandra Cain was way more off for me than Renee. I thought
I just think the tone for me, the tone from top to bottom was off. And I didn't appreciate where they were all over the map with tone. And it just didn't work.
But see,
it was Margot Robbie as the focus, and I
like her as her. I think she does a good Harley.
I think the Suicide Squad movie finally like got some of those notes correct. Like they finally nailed it a little bit. But the other times when I've seen her, I just think she's an absolute disaster.
I disagree with you, John.
That's fine, and I think I'm in the minority. So I think
you are. Well, because I've heard a lot of people that are like, oh, the Joker with Lady Gaga, blah, give me more Margot Robbie. So
I have a little more faith in
it's an Elseworlds
in that world to work to fit her in, because I think that character needs more substance. She can't. My problem is I think sometimes it's easy to take Harley Quinn and play her as the ditzy like shorts girl, and she's a freaking doctor. And if you can't find a way to like layer that intelligence in, you're missing the whole point of the character for me. The reason why books like Harleen work is because they're able to balance these two things. Batman White Knight works with her better because they balance her better. Yeah, and I think Birds of Prey and the first Suicide Squad movie lose it because they're like, she's eye candy and she's freaking stupid.
See, my only pushback on you, John, on that is it's very remnant of the character where she was originally created in the animated series. Right. She was more that character than she was of the psychiatrist that you get in Harleen, I think, from the animated series.
I think the animated series balanced it better.
I don't think they do as well as you think. I think you need to revisit it.
Sure.
I think
I'm happy to revisit
that. That's my only like I did enjoy I enjoyed Stephanie Phillips' Harley Quinn because I think Stephanie Phillips was trying to write her. She was trying to mend both, like bridge both, of having the kind of over the top Harley Quinn, but also having the doctor aspect, because Stephanie Phillips also has a she's smarter, and she has some degree that's smarter than me too.
But I'll also say, like, I'm the only person I know that watched the Harley animated series and didn't like it.
Oh yeah.
I'm like one of the few. I just thought it was stupid. Like, I didn't think it was. I did not. I watched the whole first episode and didn't laugh one time. I was like, this is.
I mean, I've watched it all. It's not my favorite thing, but I've watched all of the.
I almost like
they
it
did
better
that
when
Valentine's
Harley's
Day
not
special recently.
That's funny.
It handles. I enjoy the way they do Bane. I enjoy the way they do Clayface in there. All of the like supporting Gotham cast in the Harley series. I really enjoy.
I just felt like it wasn't funny, and yet again, struggles to balance the intelligence of that character with the like ridiculous.
Well, yeah, in that version of the show, you're gonna get the Looney Tunes.
You're just getting the Looney. Yeah,
and that's fine.
It takes the animated series and goes like way further.
That's what that show is.
People love that though.
And that's what people like. And for me, it ruins the character because I can't handle that character without the intelligence because otherwise she just seems stupid to me.
Yeah, but then you got Ivy, you got Clayface in there, you got Dr. Psycho and like the whole rest of the
I never got past episode 1.
And you've got Kite Man.
Hell yeah. Exactly.
The Harley Quinn from the movies reminds me a lot of Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor's Harley Quinn, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, I can see that.
So again, I think there's a place for both. That's been my always thing is like I think there are some versions of characters that I think you can have both exist in the world. Well,
that's what I think the White Knight series did right. Was they actually retconned it as there was 2 ladies that Joker actually had 2 women that dressed as Harley at different times. One that was the doctor and then left him and was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And one that came in and replaced her and was like way ditzier and way more wild and way more short shorts. I almost feel like DC needs to like embrace this idea.
Well, and I think
it would fix a lot of the retconning of being like, see, that was A and this was B. That was the A one and this was the B one.
I agree with you. I think DC needs to lean more into not going into, and I think we're getting glimpses of that now. Of DC, especially when it comes to movies, they need to lean into. You can have different versions. You can have the Batman, and you can have a campier Batman or a more kid-friendly Batman and be okay. You can have your, Harley Quinn as a kind of ditzy character, or you can have her as a smarter character,
which is a tone. It's almost like a tone discussion, right?
Yep. And it just is what you want, like, because I know you have an affection still for Batman 66 that I do, but there's a place for it all. You can have your steaks dinner, but you can also have a good fried bologna sandwich.
But here's the reason why I don't count Harley in that discussion, because the second you make her a joke, it's too, I can't handle, it's too dark for me. Like then you're talking about sex abuse is what you're talking about. Like she's like that character, you can't make a joke out of her because you're talking about someone who is an intelligent doctor and then became what? His
psychologically
sex toy?
Broken, his
sex bomb. Like ultimately at that point, you're making comedy out of somebody who's so psychologically damaged that she's in love with a serial killer, and I can't laugh at that. Like I have trouble laughing at that. That's why I struggle with the character. Like she's not something to be laughed at. It's like something to be scared of. That's what concerns me. I absolutely agree with that. I totally agree.
We need more running on a dock.
The problem is, I think some people just err on the side of she's silly, she's funny, and she's sexy. And when you lose the other half of her, it becomes offensive to me. I just, as a dad of daughters and just a man, as a human being, it becomes offensive to me.
And I agree with that, John. But my only counterpoint to that would be is, I think now they've at least detached her from the Joker.
Okay.
In the comics, in the cartoon, even in the show, which I don't love, and in the comics, they've detached her from that and still had a goofy, sexualized a little bit more, but it's without it being a Joker, underling. So I think at least as long as if you're going to go that route, that you're talking about, you have to separate her from the Joker. Otherwise, I see exactly what you're saying. And I think they did that in the movie. They did that in Birds of Prey. They did that in the, whether you like it or not, I think at least it lessens that offense for me a little bit more when they do that.
Well, I will say Tom King did the one thing not many writers have done in that, what was it, Crisis of Conscience or whatever the fuck it was, with Speedy, not
Heroes of Crisis.
Heroes in Crisis, where he actually had in those little one-on-one things in the therapy room, her bringing up the abuse.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the comics have danced around or not fully embraced or touched it. So, like, I give credit for that book with her outwardly going out.
Yeah, I admit that was a series that was trying to do something, and it did definitely miss the mark. But I think it's worthy of not throwing in the trash simply because of the fact that I think it was trying to do something very brave and bold. It just didn't succeed.
Is that intentional? Brave and bold just now?
Yeah, I kind of was like,
yeah. I mean, I have I still have all the like great covers.
You know where I got this from? The H section.
Congratulations.
Because it's Heroes in
Right next to Hawkeye, which really makes sense.
So you're gonna,
yeah, it does make perfect sense actually, because they're both.
You want to know what's right next? You know what was in between? Hey Kids Comics.
Hey, there you go. See,
you're gonna make Greg do a video now on organizing comics. It's gonna be like Sesame Street.
It's a short video because you just go by the alphabet. It makes I have to think about it.
Play the Sesame Street music.
My friend is here now.
Oh.
Hey, Butch.
That's
wait, wrong. No, sorry.
Yeah. Just keep the camera there. Nope.
Yeah, right. That's the more entertaining. That's the more entertaining show right there. Way better. Because she should be allowed to be sexy, but men kind of turn it into an object. I agree. See, Tessa, I totally agree. And I will say, I've loved the way they've used her in the current Poison Ivy series, and they've only had her in, say, 3 issues, give or take, in the run. But all of those issues have done a great job of balancing the two sides of Harley. And I think that's where a talented writer is able to capitalize on it.
So I know Stephanie. I'd be curious to hear Tessa's opinion on Harley Quinn, because I know Stephanie Phillips just ended and Teenie Howard is doing the the new arc both, and like what thoughts.
I saw Tessa mention
she did post something about that
wanting to say that she's going to follow the new series that Teenie Howard.
But like I wonder, like, what was it with Stephanie? Did she appreciate Stephanie? I don't know. I'm just curious of where that was with, because you did have a female writer who was trying, I think, if you read it, she was trying to add the doctor aspect of Harley Quinn into it while still being funny.
If Tessa can convince me to pick up the new Harley by Teenie Howard, I'd be impressed, because I was so mad at Teenie Howard's X-Men stuff that I'm like, I'm done with Teenie Howard as a writer. Like, she's been
I'm really enjoying Catwoman.
Yeah, I like
she good on Catwoman?
Future State.
I like it. That's what Tessa's been reading
for Harley Quinn.
I've been so like the roller coaster of her X-Men stuff is just driving me crazy.
For losing Greg.
I was just talking about a writer. I wasn't really, talking about too much. Read her Catwoman. I haven't read Catwoman since Joel Jones left, so it's been a while.
Understandable.
Ooh.
I just loved the Joel Jones art, and I loved the art germ covers. It was
I got a couple issues of Catwoman by Teenie because I bought them from Tessa from her.
She does good auctions on Instagram.
It was. I got one of the sexy lady bundles.
I jumped into one the other day and I got outbid, but it was a good time.
Oh.
I jumped in the one where she's like, "I built a chair, guys! Yay!"
It was a good day.
Anytime you have furniture is always a good day instead of standing up and having stuff knocking over. She
does sound pretty cool. I gotta say, I haven't done enough shows with Tessa, but she's
like half handsome.
Listen, I've said too much nice things about Tessa tonight, so I have a ratio that I can only say so many nice things about Tessa. So,
well, we're like over an hour and 30 minutes, and I feel like I need to pull the plug on this.
Do it. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, so real quick, you can go if you want, but recommend a Batman book that might be kind of outside normal people's
I'm gonna
radar.
recommend the same one you are, Dan.
Are you?
Crap.
Just do yours first.
I wasn't prepared for this.
I'm
I
gonna
am,
mess
but
it
I've
up.
been
So
waiting
when
the
we
whole
get the
I mean, people don't talk about Arkham Asylum enough. That's a really good, like, just
Yeah.
trade. You can grab Arkham Asylum. That's a real simple one that's like standalone, really, really funky, different kind of art style. But like, that's a good one. I mean, obviously, everybody talks about some of the same ones that we mentioned already tonight, but like, that's a good one.
Ooh, Batman the Cold is a good one.
Yes.
And that's the
Yep.
first one you get of.
Wrightson.
That's
Is that
the first.
Legends of the Dark Knight?
Nope. It's
No,
a
it's just
miniseries.
a miniseries. The Cold. It's the
Okay.
first one. It's that like
Deacon Blackfire.
Deacon Black, the priest. Yeah, who's in the video games. Like that's a good. But
Arsenio, man, thanks for there you go, my man.
Dan, this was one that
Respect.
I recommend that I feel like you would also recommend.
Go ahead. Oh, yes.
Oh,
That
so-
wasn't the one I was going to recommend, but yeah, it's a really good one.
It's a
especially-
really good one.
I've never read it. I need to
You
read that.
definitely need to read
it's
it.
out
I
of
love
print, but
Dini
you
and
can find
Eduardo
copies.
Rizzo. I've never read it.
So it's the idea of it's a basically like a true life story of Dini as he's like in the midst of writing Batman the Animated Series. He gets mugged and like is hospitalized severely and like dealing with like dabbling into like the real life Batman world and not. And it's just if you are a Batman fan and then Paul Dini and any like John.
I know it's great, and I hear
John.
great things. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
John.
It'll
John.
happen. It'll happen. I'll see it for 50% off at some point. And I'll just be
John.
like,
It's out of print.
John.
but that's the best part about my LCS. They tend to get that kind of stuff on this like epic wall of 50%. When they buy collections, they put all the trades up for 50%.
John.
I hear you.
So for me, Dark Knight, Dark City by Peter Milligan, and I'm trying to remember the artist. Shit, I didn't prepare for this at all.
I didn't
Hey, you're the one that came up with this question. What are you talking about? Here?
No, but I just in my head, I just remember Peter Milligan writing it. Basically, it is the Riddler is trying to summon a demon, so he's basically committing satanic acts. It's a 3-issue run of it, and it ties into the Grant Morrison run where he
Kieran
accidentally raises
Dwyer.
Barbatos. Yes, Kieran Dwyer.
There you go.
And it had Mike Mignola doing covers.
Yes, I was going to say these covers look very Mignola-esque.
But they summon the demon Barbatos, which of course Grant Morrison's like, ooh, no one's using this shit. Let me use it for my story.
Look at
and
that.
then
That's like fucking gorgeous.
And then it goes
Beauty.
to Scott Snyder used him in that stupid Dark Knight Metal series, and well, I don't want to talk about that.
Dark City.
I've never heard of this before.
It was an arc in the Batman Volume 1 run originally.
Yeah, that and also 10 Nights of the Beast with him going to
Is that
the KG Beasts. Yeah, is a really good one. Those are pretty much the two like that pop in my head immediately. And Ryan, is there a crime noir one that you think GCPD wise that besides GCPD that you think?
Besides that, that would be the most relevant recommendation I have, and there's a reason I came in hot with that book ready to go. But
Harleen, go Harleen.
Harleen, yeah, we've already talked
Good
about
one.
that too. Though.
Freaking great.
You mentioned the Riddler, and it made me think of the Riddler Year One.
Oh,
Is that what it's called? The one,
Yeah.
that
the
Dano's
Paul
writing?
Dano written one.
Yes,
Yep.
That's been good.
That's been
I
really
like
good.
that a lot.
It is a very
I also
well-written-
like the Tom King One Bad Day Riddler was really good.
Didn't
His
love that
Ra's
one
al
as
Ghul
much.
was really good. The Tom Taylor
Ra's al Ghul.
one
preferred
that day
that,
was
and
really
I
good.
preferred the Clayface one. I didn't love the Riddler story as much, but
Did you
yeah.
like the Ra's al Ghul?
Yes, actually,
Because you know why you did?
Tom Taylor,
Yeah, but you know why else?
Ivan Rice.
Batman and Ra's al Ghul fought with
Shirtless.
swords with no shirts.
There you go. Yep. I would do Riddler
Chest
Year
hair.
One, and then Batman the Imposter, as both of those movies are like the Batman.
Ooh, Batman the
adjacent.
Imposter, which is actually written by the guy who did the screenplay for the Batman.
Correct.
I don't know
Both-
if I
both
read
very good.
Imposter.
Both very good, especially
Imposter's
if you
really
like
good.
the Batman.
Read it if you haven't read the Imposter. It's 3 issues. It's worth
I
it.
was
You know what
telling
they're gonna
Tessa
do?
to read The Night.
I was gonna get if they released it like the One Bad Day, like collected.
They're
edition.
doing well, correct. I'm sure if there's someone who owns a comic store in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but last
She
I
will.
knew is the first thing they're releasing is this summer is all the One Bad Days in hardcovers.
Stupid.
Like
As a
together or
Separate
solo?
individual
No, as
hardcovers.
separate as a collected edition.
But like
Like a box set.
Why
Like
would
a
you put
box set.
one?
No, like all hardcovers in a box set.
Because that'd be a freaking tiny hardcover, like it's super skinny little.
Again, correct me if I'm wrong. If you own a
You're
comic
not.
shop and you're still in the chat, but I'm pretty sure they're not doing a
Because
collected
I skipped
edition
reading
yet.
any of them, and I was like, oh, they'll collect them all at some point.
I
I'll
think
just
they're
read them.
doing the first thing they're dropping is a box set of them.
You'll find them in dollar bins very soon, I'm sure.
Pass. Yeah. I don't want to store them. That's the thing. I don't mind putting them on the shelf in the Batman section, but I don't want to store them in a short box. And especially if they're like the large, oversized. Like I'm
They're
not
not.
dealing with that.
They're not. They're just
They're not.
thicker
They're
books.
normal. They're thicker,
I think-
but they're normal size comics, but they're just thicker.
Now that it's all done, I think there were only like 2 or 3 that I think were really.
But I'm
worth
sure
it.
they're going to do another round, right?
I
They're
think the
gonna pick a few
Raza
more
Rule was
villains and do it
good.
again.
I liked the Mr. Freeze because it was a unique take
Okay.
on a token Mr. Freeze story.
I liked the Bane one for that same reason too.
I didn't
Yeah.
like the Bane one. So that's what's funny. Like what worked for some didn't work for me for others.
And it's kind of because you're going to get so many different writers and artists, you might not like a combo.
I think the concept was cool, but the idea of was like when you're trying to compare it to the Joker, the Killing Joke story as the One Bad Day, like none of them met
just
that
like yeah.
level. And I think if you just framed it in a different mindset of like, oh, we're gonna tell a really cool story about, and One Bad Day, but not tried to compare it to like the Killing Joke in any way.
No, I get it.
You'd be fine. It'd be a lot better. But like Clayface was good. I thought Clayface and Ra's al Ghul and Mr. Freeze were the strongest ones.
I would agree.
It's funny because like I know I mentioned that Ryan and I both have the Absolute Edition. Killing Joke is not one of my favorite Batman.
Oh, it's not
stories.
one of mine either.
I'm just kind of like it's cool. I really like the like stuff that's in the present, not the like flashback stuff. I don't need.
I don't put Killing Joke in my top 5.
See, there I'm not that extreme, JP. I don't think it's terrible.
No,
I'm just not a big fan.
It
was a gift from my friend Kavi, and I do appreciate it. But
I don't know if I'd put it in my
not
top
one of my
5,
favorites.
but
it's not even in my top 10 Batman stories.
It might make my top 10, but it's not going to make my top 5.
Not possible.
So
I'm a little in between Gore and John, and I'm okay in that space. I feel comfortable there.
Sandwiched in between Gore and John is
yes.
bearded.
I feel good in between John and Gore. Yeah.
We were ending.
People have said that.
Yeah.
We're getting off in a weird subject.
Tessa with the comment of the night. Killing Joke is aggressively medium.
She's trying to top mine from the other day because I showed that I got that Punchline foil cover, and I was like, I don't know why I chased this cover of a mid character. And she's like, ooh, that's a take.
I didn't think I could like Tessa more than that quote is. I almost want to like cut that out and put it on my Absolute Edition.
Don't worry. I'm always cautious of like what I say on Dan's channel because like Dan like clips like 80 different things from the episode and posts them like, oh gosh, what did I say when I was watching?
This part's
it usually ends up making me look worse most times.
I respect that.
And I'm okay with that.
Except for Tessa, the one time she's like, I need to like stop saying stuff because it's cat.
Way more entertaining than me.
Thank you.
Thank goodness. Ryan, put an animal up on your screen too.
No, that's fine. They're just
his brother's probably around somewhere. He's an animal.
Yeah.
So, John, what do you have going on your channel soon?
Kitty time. That's what we've got. No, I've got, I'm doing something Monday night that I don't normally do. Monday night, I'm gonna do a creator interview.
Oh shit!
I don't do these very often. It's very rare. It's very rare. I've only done 2 on my YouTube channel prior to this, but I got a couple of I'll get to the kitty in a little bit. I've only done a couple before this, but the creators I'm having on Monday, firstly, one of them slept in my house. They've played with my kids, both of them. And one of them is that guy. He's right there. Yeah. I'm going to totally remember an interview with Tom and Ryan Monday night talking about Crashdown. So be ready, buckle up for that.
Or don't buckle up. It's kind of the theme.
I
of the
mean,
series.
you don't want to crash down without buckling up first.
It's true. It's true.
Her name is Mama. That's just been the name that my school gave her because she was pregnant when we adopted her. And then she had another batch of kittens immediately following the first batch. She's had 16 kittens in the course of a year.
Or
and so we've just called her Mama. Toby, it's supposed to be, I believe, 6:00 Pacific on Monday night on my channel.
Is there anybody else around here that does like creator interviews with like indie creators on their YouTube channel?
I mean, both of the other people on this show. Yes.
I was waiting for Dan to ask what I do because I was gonna.
I wanted to go around the line. God damn.
Because I was gonna call you out on that, but no, that's fine.
But don't worry, Tessa. I've had one of the first things at my school when I came on board at this campus was I got her spayed and I made sure all her kittens were adopted to great homes. But now I take her home a lot of times on the weekends or during vacations when I know there's no kids around and she likes being around people. So I bring her to my house.
I mean, Ryan definitely wouldn't want to come on Tessa and mine show.
Yeah, there's not enough.
And there's an amazing. I mean, there's a bunch of amazing covers, but guys, there's a David freaking Mack
which I pre-ordered
variant.
The Mafu, the Samus Aran Nintendo variant.
Come on. All day.
I've got the A cover series subscribed to, but I got the David Mack issue #1 variant.
I mean, there's no reason not covers. To get that.
Thank you.
I support my friends. We're friends of the
and
channel.
we support
acquaintances.
Acquaintance of the show. I like that. This is the first time I've been on one of our. We had this group chat forever, and you kept blowing up in it.
And the first time we're not talking about movies, Ryan makes it.
Oh, hang out, yeah. Like, I don't want to watch a bunch of Michael Mann movies or.
There's a lot of them. They were all long.
Or Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but
Robert Rodriguez. That's right. That's the other one. Yeah, I'm good on all those.
To be fair, we didn't watch any of those.
Too much work.
Mentioned.
I mean, I watched 2 of the Spy Kids movies.
How long ago?
During the month.
Oh,
20 years ago.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, the first one I had seen like a long time ago. But I rewatched it.
When Kate was just a young child, we sat and watched it. Although I saw you have the video watching horror now.
Right,
dude. I'm excited.
That's awesome. Yeah. She's probably not going to want to watch the new Evil Dead. Just putting it out there.
Tom is going to see that right now. Actually, in 5 minutes.
I just got out of it before we started.
Yeah, he invited me like twice. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't care. I don't want to see that movie.
Yeah, it's lacking the charm.
I don't love Evil Dead as a series. Apparently, this is a different thing, but
yeah,
I don't care.
Spy Kids 3D. No, thank you. So Greg, what do you got coming up on your channel?
So I do actually, unlike John, I do a lot of creator interviews on my channel.
Do you?
Yeah.
Have you had Mark Russell on?
I've had Mark Russell on multiple times. I had Kyle Starks just on recently. You know what, Dan? Because I like you, I'll give you the next creator interview that's going to happen. I'm going to have Phil Hester on, who did the art for Gotham City year 1. So these are creators that I don't really know real well, but they agree to be on my show. I have one from Crashdown that's still dodging me a lot to be on my show for a creator interview. But like,
it took me a while.
Mark Russell's like, cool, yeah, I'll hop on. Like, you know,
I saw David Kennedy Johnson at MegaCon, and I was like, oh, I saw you on the Bearded Comic Bros. Like, oh yeah. So he was like talking about. We were talking.
I've never had him on my show, but thank you.
I thought you had.
No, Lost in Comics. I've never
Lost in Comics.
I talked to Mark Russell about you at Emerald City, I think a year or two ago, and it was just
all talking about Bearded Comic Brothers.
You know, so again, I do creator interviews a lot, and you know, so I would love to have friends who create comic books hop on my show at some point, but you know, right now I'll just stick with like people like, you know, Fabian Nicieza, who created Deadpool. He'll
is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Nicieza is how he says.
Okay.
You had him for Super Pro. Let's.
I mean, there's no doubt about that.
So if you guys know anybody like
I'll keep
on
my
the
ear to the
channel
ground. Yeah.
who writes comics that would love
Let me
to be
think
on the
of
show. Let me know.
somebody that's got a comic coming out.
I
this
would
summer.
love to have them on. I just,
Yeah.
you know,
If I think of somebody, I'll let you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be great.
I don't really
But
know
so
anyone
yeah,
else.
just creator interviews and then random
Yeah.
TikToks that my wife and I make on YouTube Shorts and TikTok. So we'll get to some more long form content with her, but right now it's just like it's tough with our schedules.
I'm
And
digging the shorts though.
yeah, the shorts have been fun. So
I've been trying to do short reviews, and I'm way too long-winded for them.
Same.
Ryan,
It
what have
can
you
be
got
hard
going
being
on?
long.
Besides having to edit a video.
Yeah, I need to go do that. Lots of interviews. You know, I got to get Greg's going though.
I was gonna say lots of interviews.
Not that many.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
It would be so much easier if Stupid Tom wasn't going to a convention this coming weekend. Because
Or almost every
pause
weekend. He's a
everything.
busy
Yeah.
guy. Busy guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to that one. That's Las Vegas.
Listen, you
This
guys
is
have hit this.
stupid cat
You've hit
sitting.
the circuit so much right now, Ryan. Hit me up when it's closer to your book releases, and we'll get it in that circuit. So
Exactly.
it'll be fun.
No, it'll be easy. I'm saving you. Best for very, very last. Sometime after like the trade comes out.
You'll get a
I don't wanna
preview
wait that
copy.
long.
Very
After the
last.
trade comes out, I love it.
And you can tell me where you put it on your
Listen.
bookshelf.
Here, Ryan, if you don't have me on before the book drops, I'm sending you all my Deep Beyond books.
Oh God, no, please.
I have your address. I'm sending you
Ugh.
all my Deep Beyond books.
That's
I'm
fair.
gonna get Jennifer. I'm gonna get Will. I'm gonna get everyone to send me all their Deep Beyond books, and then I'm gonna just send you a short box full of Deep Beyond books until you have me on. So
Wow.
That's torture. That
That's
balls in your
painful.
court.
Oh, yeah, that'll be my my O sugar box. You know,
Yeah.
just grab all the Deep Beyond stuff.
So then he can start having.
But I'm just gonna give
Holy
you
cow.
all issue number 2s. No variant covers, all the same cover of issue number 2.
Mm.
He can have then a box that he can send to people for a nominal amount, and it's just all
Wow.
deep beyond.
Just keep sending it. Everybody gets a Deep Beyond.
It'll be like the failed spec box of like, I fucked up on this one. $16, get a box of like 60 books. Come on, you know you want it.
Right.
And also I'll throw in this 616 Comics exclusive.
Oh, wow. Now it's really getting shots fired. Everybody duck.
And on my channel, you can catch us doing movie shows every now and again, whenever that happens. And
Whenever
Tessa and
Carlito
I
gets
once a
around to
month-
watching some of the movies he asked us to watch.
At least he had us watch a good director, because I feel like he would have been like, if it was something like where I'm like, oh, this is a bad director, and then he's like, oh guys, I can't do this, like, you jerk.
The look on Fire Guy Ryan's face right now is that's a
What do you
that's a
mean
good
by good
one?
director?
That's one of the good
Yeah.
ones.
I
all
like Guy
his-
Ritchie. Now, Guy
He's
Ritchie's not
entertaining.
one. Guy Ritchie is not one that you should binge watch, but I do
No.
like Guy Ritchie.
He's a roller coaster where you get like some that you're like, this is enjoyable, and others you're
Oh,
like,
that
what
King
the hell
Arthur
happened?
movie is fucking
Like
poison.
you could literally just look at the 2 Sherlock Holmes movies he made, and you get the polar examples.
So thanks
like-
everybody for joining us. Welcome to Comic, Movie, and everything else in between talk. I
Man,
did
you
post
knew
in
this
the
coming into it. Come on.
I did post in the chat the order code for Ryan's book. It is in previews this month, so get your orders in. It's also all over our Instagrams because
All
we
over.
support our friends
I
and
keep forgetting.
Acquaintance of the show. is
Acquaintance.
what
Yeah.
Channel adjacent, whatever you want to call it. So go ahead, support. It's great for how excited he is about this book coming out, and working with Ben Templesmith for your first book is fucking insane.
Yeah, he's fun. He's
And-
fun.
Yeah, go ahead, order a book, you support, and you might just like it.
You might. It could suck though. It could be terrible. I don't really know a lot about comics.
I mean, there's also the ones that people hate initially, and then that people go back to, and they're like, "Hey, this is fucking good." There's a lot
Pretty
of
sure
books
it's
like
better
that.
than Deep Beyond though. that
Also,
allowed?
you can get a hold of Ryan and Greg for Deep Beyond boxes.
He's got a whole short box apparently.
Wow.
I'm going to have a short box. I'm gonna send it your way.
Okay.
It's right next to the Detective Comics section.
Yep.
It'll be
Because
next to all of Jen's other Mirka and
DE
Alpha
Because
books.
goes after DEC.
I get it.
Department of
And
Truth.
there's not too
and
many
then Deep Beyond.
DED books.
Nope.
The Department of Truth. Wow.
Right.
But that's
before
DEP.
Detective.
That would be
Oh,
after
oh.
it. So again,
Yeah.
it would not be right beside it.
I told
So
you I knew exactly where it fit.
you did. Well played.
Come back for comic book organization shows. Actually, that should be your shorts. Like, look, here's where John does it. Here's how I do it. Who's right?
People in my shorts don't know who John is.
No,
Oh.
nobody knows who I am.
It's because you're wearing the wrong shirt in your shorts.
Is it that X-Men guy?
They.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh
Take down-
God.
All right.
Take down that comment, Dan. Dan, take down the comment.
Yeah,
Ugh.
we can log out now, Dan. Ryan's got
Yeah,
to
we're
editing
all
a
good.
video.
Thank you.
Well, no, I
everybody,
just
for-
you didn't see my name until you removed the comments. So I was.
There you go.
by my friend Tom's book.
Nailed it.
That's fair.
Nailed it.
I'll accept that. Still counts.
Yeah,
enough.
Brian's getting a piece of it either way.
Which Tom doesn't know who I am, so it's fine. But it's funny because
He will now. You're going to be on a list.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
Our hit list.
it's
Thank you, everybody. for
it's like the
tuning in.
Billy Madison hit list. Ryan just has. I'm on it now.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Black Delegation from work, tuning in. Arsenio, thanks. It's always funny when you show up. So we have these dumb conversations at work constantly. And go ahead, subscribe to everybody. Check out Ryan's videos with Comic Tom. Make sure you go subscribe to Tessa too, even though she doesn't really need the help with the subscriptions because she has beat our ass. Well, mine at least. She might be right above you, Bearded now.
Oh, she's crushed me. She surpassed me so quick. As soon as I hit 1,000, she just said, "Watch me."
Wow.
Can we do a 24-hour cat cam for charity?
I mean, it's gonna be getting way
Listen,
better.
ever
audiences than
since
my
the
stuff
cat
did.
has been on camera, it's been more enjoyable for me. So I get it.
That's why I figured nobody needs to see my ugly face.
My cat just sits in the other room staring across like, get the fuck out of there. I want to use the bathroom.
Oh crap! There it is. Can't escape it. Can't escape the face.
All right. Thank you, everybody. There's a lightning storm, so I really need to get off because I just hear the thunder and lightning now. So I don't feel like getting
Electrocuted,
electrocuted.
Dan.
Get out of
I
here.
don't find the fun in that. But take care, everybody. Bye-bye.